All right, after crazy audio and technical issues, we are now starting again for a huge talk all about the first week of Project Epoch. And look, guys, half of you just heard me say that and say, what the fuck is Project Epoch? And the other half of you are saying, oh my God, can you stop talking about this thing already? I'm so sick of hearing about Project Epoch. And just those very, polar opposite reactions to this is sort of part of the whole storyline of this private server that's fired up this week. And guys, we're talking about a private server. Yes, again, many of you are going, Josh, what are you doing? Oh my God, are we seriously about to devote a whole episode to a private server? Yes, and it's for a good reason, and we'll get to that over the next 2 to 3 hours. So we've got a shitload of people on the line because people have been fired up about this thing. They finally got to play it after about a 3-week false start. And, that is part of the game with private servers. There was a lot of technical issues, a lot of launch issues. This is an amateur gig by hobbyists, and they really struggled to get it off the start line. But we'll talk about all of that and what happened, and more importantly, what we're actually seeing in-game now that things are actually running. So, look, I won't introduce everyone, but we've got, 13 of us here on the line, and maybe not all of them will speak, but I'm sure people will pop in when they want to, when they hear something that fires them up. But the real driving force behind this podcast, I have to shout him out, and for sort of getting my blood pumping and putting the boot up my bum to sort of do this is Ubiquitous. Mate, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
That's the way. Now, look, mate, it's funny because sometimes I do podcast episodes, and no matter what topic I'm doing a podcast on, I found this with the rugby podcast that I started recently as well. Guests started turning up with manifestos written out. They're like, I've got so much to say and I want to make sure I don't miss a point. It sounded like you were drafting a bit of a Ubiquitous manifesto over Project Epoch at one stage.
It has been living in my head rent-free the entire time I'm not already playing it.
Very good. Very good. Well, look, mate, before we get you tearing through, the so-called manifesto, as we say, I think we should spend just a little bit of time. I don't want to do the thing I always do and spend 30 to 40 minutes on this relatively innocuous point that no one gives a fuck about because they want us to get to what the server's like. But we do have to touch on the issues surrounding launch now that they're in the past and it's all been put to bed. Nobody really cares as much, but a huge thing happened with this server where, they fucked up the launch. It was a bit of a travesty. They did not have the tech or the expertise, if you will, to get this thing rolling with so many people kicking down their door. And we talked about this on the last podcast. I don't begrudge these guys, 3 or 4 guys that were launching a little server for 500, 1,000, 2,000 people, and then went to turn the open-close sign to open, and they had 30, 40,000 people kicking down their door, and they did not have, they didn't order enough food to feed that many people. But that's what happened. Everything fell to shit. Delay after delay as they struggled under the weight of needing to do all this technical stuff quickly that they just couldn't do. And eventually a bailout was proposed by the team behind Project Ascension. This is a private server that I've not had a lot of love for in the past. Now, guys, I don't play that many private servers these days, but I do keep tabs on the scene, and I jump on a server every now and again for a little bit over the last 3 or 4 years. Ascension is just something I've never had any interest in. SOD came out and everyone goes, oh, it's just Ascension. We talked about that a little bit on the show when it happened, but they do have a little bit of a reputation for being rather obnoxious with the microtransactions, and, that's something that's obviously optional, but, the pay-to-win stuff was kind of out of control on their servers, and it was just something I really disregarded, even though they were very popular. So Ascension reached out to the Epoch team and said, look, I'm just assuming what the conversation was at this point. You guys can correct me if you think I say something wrong here, but they've basically said, look, you can either not exist because you're struggling and you can't do any of this, or you can make a partnership with us. I'm presuming they're going to split profits in some fashion, and you get your project up and running. You get people seeing the stuff that you spent 3 to 4 years building, eyeballs on all your hard work, and you get to make some money out of it. and it's better than just being dead in the water and everyone forgetting about you in a week or two. We can help you with this. And they made a deal. We don't know what the exact parameters of the deal financially were, but basically the Epoch team is going to take care of content moving forward, and the Ascension team is completely in charge of the technical aspect, the admin behind the running of the server, all the nuts and bolts. And that was something that was received a bit awkwardly at first, because while people know that Ascension can do this technically, they instantly grew concerned that that would mean that the Epoch project would now become inundated with the influence of the Ascension quote unquote greed of all their microtransactions and pay to win items. And some people wrote it off and go, that's it for Epoch. This is like Activision Blizzard all over again. You see what happens here later down the track. Lol, I'm not touching this one. And that is obviously yet to be seen, because that may well happen. I'm not naive enough to think it won't happen, but my gut tells me that Ascension coming out and saying, look, guys, we're not going to go stupid. We realize the golden goose that is Project Epoch, and we're not going to be stupid with the microtransactions on this one like we are with our other servers. Have faith in us that this is going to be okay for you guys. So some people dove in the pool with that faith. Others said, no, thank you. But I think the majority still gave it a go. Yubi, I'll throw it over to you after that really extended monologue there. Do you think I summed up a wild last month well enough there?
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like I don't know. These guys tried to launch a rocket. It blew up on the fucking platform, and then private server WoW NASA came in and bought them out. So I think I mean I've been thoroughly educated on the private server history from like its very origins this week, and apparently these guys are the fucking technological bee's knees of this area. So, and I mean,
Yeah.
from playing on the server, you can kind of tell it
Of the
runs pretty good.
the deep dark back alleys that is the private server universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they got the best crack in the alley. So,
Yeah. Hey, so guys, I want to know from anyone else, anyone jump in here on this point of Ascension going into partnership with Epoch. Were any of you guys concerned about what that might lead to, and how did you react to it?
It's always concerning handing over any element of control of something that like you've created. I've ran smaller scale game servers in the past, and had an opportunity to team up with a larger provider of those like same sort of game servers, and we turned it down because giving that control away was something that we weren't willing to do. However, this is much larger numbers, much larger amounts of people. It was likely that if they didn't do it, yeah, they just wouldn't have existed in the way that they do now.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I fucking would be loath to give 1% of say or control to any individual over what I do with Countdown, for example. Like, I still vividly remember the day in Countdown's very early days in 2018, having a very long, like hour-long conversation with Cargos over the phone when I was at work in Australia, and he was pitching me on, you know, the website that they were starting up and wanting to get Countdown to Classic involved and marrying up business wise there. And I mean, it was a fine little pitch and everything, but it was one of the easiest no's I've ever given someone, because I'm like, I'm a control freak. I want to do with my show what I want to do, and I'm not fucking working with other people, and I've never regretted that. But you know, sometimes a partnership is mutually beneficial to great degrees for both parties. Was anyone else here? Is anyone here? Please don't be shy. Is anyone here? Still, I'm convinced they're going to go full pay to win later down the track.
Well, I guess like I got another point on it too. I suppose the sticking point for us was the admin side of things. They wanted to take some admin on, most of the admin, all of the admin, likely would have been the case, and having like not being able to remove people off a server that you essentially created. It's just too risky because it just tarnishes your reputation as like a modder. These guys are modders. They've modded World of Warcraft Classic, and yeah, they could be put in a really bad situation by handing off the administrative side of the server running. which I sincerely hope doesn't happen, either with microtransactions or admin abuse type behaviors.
Yubi, can I throw it to you on this one just because I feel like you had a good point. I've raised it very slightly there, but you had a good point in the Discord a couple of weeks ago about, I'm willing to bet that these guys won't kill the golden goose here because they know what they've lucked into the Ascension team with, everything that happened with Epoch being so fortuitous for them. They would have to be the dumbest men alive to all of a sudden fuck with that and deliver a store that is not designed for this player base. Is that right?
Yeah, I was going down the fucking, the business logic route because if you wanted to just jack this server up with, oh, you can buy full tier 1 for $50, it's like if you had players that are fine with that would have already probably been just playing Ascension server. The reason why this server's popping off is because the guys that come up with it were pretty strict on it just being a really, staying in its lane as a classic server like in the vanilla realm. And that's something that they've been very clear on, like even after the takeover. I think Dutch is the big dog at Ascension. He's made a lot of posts and they've been very, very clear that the Epoch team have 100% creative control of the shop and in game and all that. And yeah, the reasoning was, if they opened a shop up tomorrow with boosts, fucking heirlooms for cash and all that shit, fucking 80% of this server stops playing tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, why would you? Why would you invest and buy this whole asset to go and change it at its very core? And I mean, people will probably doubt that Ascension is a big business. And this wouldn't have been cheap to buy this off the Project Epoch guys. I'm sure they've made a nice little fucking fund in their back pocket from this. So, why would you buy an asset for, who knows, let's just say hundreds of thousands? Could have been more, we don't know. And then go and flip it on its head. It would just be fucking moronic. And I'm pretty sure the Ascension team are much smarter than that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Look, wasn't it wild to see once Epoch eventually did wave the white flag and sort of say, look, we realized we can't do this. We're losing team members. Everyone's sort of crumbling to the pressure. We've tried to crunch over the last week to get this server out to you guys, but it's bigger than us. And then announced they've gone into partnership with Ascension. Ascension jumping in, the moment they did, as you say, that sort of passing of the baton from K-Totes to Dutch, the noticeable difference in communication, in crunch, in results was wild. And I think it was a 6-day turnaround from Ascension getting involved to launch. And, when this happened, we had a big chat about it in the Discord, and so many people were convinced that there was so much wrong with the Epoch server technically that it would not be ready anytime soon. And a few of us sort of said, you know what? I think these guys will do everything it takes. They will move mountains to launch this thing before Turtle WoW launches their new server, Ambershire. And that's fucking exactly what happened. And I think Vestige, you were a bit doubtful of the possibility of this happening, and I backed it straight away, and I just said it's fucking going to happen. And I know that could be deemed cope and blind optimism, but I genuinely was basing that on some form of like optics as well. Like I believed that these guys could do it, and they fucking did it. Were you shocked, Vestige?
I was pretty shocked at how quickly they were able to put everything together. And I don't know if it's the Epoch team and they were so close maybe to figuring things out, but they just burned themselves out after 2 weeks and then Ascension carried it across the line, or if Ascension is so godly in their knowledge of Trinity Core and stuff that they were just able to just manhandle this thing into existence, or a combination of both, maybe. I don't really know, but I am shocked that they were able to get it as quickly as they could into a very, very playable state at launch it, because I'm guessing they just figured we got to beat Ambershire at all costs.
At all costs, 100%. And as you say, playable is really the key word there, because they said to the community, and we'll talk about this sort of, this is just WoW players being fucking WoW players, but they said to the community, look, do you guys want us to sit on this? And it wasn't really, it was never going to be up for debate. I think they just asked this, knowing full well that the answer was they were going to do whatever it took to launch before Turtle WoW. But they put it out there to the community and go, do you want us to just launch this thing with some bugs that we'll fix as we go on? Or do you want it to be held back and refined and polished? And everyone just said, just fucking ship the fuck up. If it's playable, it's playable. Work the kinks out as we go. And that's what they did. And I think the vast majority of the player base has been more than okay with that. I know I have. Yeah, of course I've seen little things. And I've seen little things that would make the sweatiest people lose their shit that ultimately I shrug my shoulders over. But they are getting fixed, UB, isn't it? You're keeping a keen eye on the changelog, aren't you?
Yeah, I was gonna say they had a 24/7 team for that week, and that was it was eye-opening to know that they actually have that kind of work capacity as a team. And yeah, I'm shook. I'm rattled. There's way too much clear, concise communication with results being told to the community. I'm usually left in the dark and don't know what's ever going to happen with the game on the other versions that we may play for the last 5 years. So, and yeah, the changelog is mind-boggling. The amount of shit that they're doing every single day, right down to fixing like a weapon animation and how it sits on your character.
Yeah, go. What was that one? Tell people what you found there.
Like just amongst the changes of, a bazillion quests getting tweaked and this shit, then there's like Shield of Azith sheaths properly now. And it's like, all right, good to know that they're digging right through the weeds that thoroughly to fix a specific shield in the game going on your back correctly. But yeah, the change log is, I've actually been entertained by it at work, just watching the rollout happen. But no, it's been it's genuinely impressive. And like I said, I was pretty oblivious. I've been a career-long private server hater and doubter, and then just because of a gap between games that I wanted to play, I gave it a try, and I'm really surprised by actually the quality and like what they can actually churn out as a team.
Well, that's one thing to say what monetization buys you.
Yeah, cash money. I'm guessing the project Epoch is essentially founded by 4 hobbyists in a basement, but then Ascension is big corp, like a workforce that with salaries, I imagine, and because they generate the income via their other servers.
We'll touch on the private server portion of things. Sorry, was that Fred or someone was about to jump in there?
Oh, it's Axel. I was just going to say that it's also, when the players have been conditioned to a certain level of bugs already, it makes it way easier to just ship it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like Blizzard's. It's not like Blizzard servers are fucking pristine and bug clear, is it? Guys, we'll move into the next portion, which is that's now put to bed, that little intro there about the history of the technical issues and stuff and how the server came to launch. I'm glad we covered that just in 15 minutes. Thank you. But just on the private private server aspect of all this UB. So the server launches, and we'll get into very soon why everyone on this call is having a lot of fun with this server and sort of, the hopes that this could be the next big thing amongst us. But we've sort of been talking about it a lot in the Discord, and it's caught some people going like, oh, what's all this? I haven't heard of this. Oh, okay, maybe I'll give it a go. Or, oh, it's a private server? No, I don't want to touch that. I don't do the private server thing, which is like, it is understandable. Don't get me wrong.
Last week.
Yep. And it's been me in the past as well. I have it's a Jekyll and Hyde wrestle inside of myself over how I feel about private servers. And we're not getting into all the bullshit about it. That's not even a conversation we're touching on today. But, it's always something I've never been like feeling great about. But there's obviously the Nostarius example. It's really looked back upon as a relatively wholesome example of a private server community coming together, enjoying the game, and then that leading to something great, which was the, invention of WoW Classic, and the whole franchise bloomed from there because of the success of Nostarius. There were other private servers outside of Nostarius. I know the history, but Nostarius was the one that hit the success that sparked the dollar signs in Blizzard's eyes that got us to Classic. So this this is the biggest thing since Nostarius. And it's not just the biggest thing since, it's twice as big as Nostarius. This thing has been epic. It's had about 35,000 people roll on this server just in the first week. And don't get me wrong, those numbers might come down. It might have been a lot of tourists, but the initial explosion of interest is crazy. I think Nostarius had something like 15,000 people playing on it. This is more than double. So my question, Yubi, at this point is, why don't you tell a story, and you don't have to name names, but you've been reaching out to a lot of Countdown people saying, hey mate, do you have any interest in this? I know you're a C+ kind of guy. This server might be right up your alley. And you've gotten a lot of responses about, no, it's just private servers. I don't touch them.
Yeah, I've been messaging some pals that I've met through the show over the years, just because I've genuinely been playing, and they're just coming to mind. Like, I'm playing and I'm thinking, oh well, fuck. Like, this particular moment here in the game for me is like, oh, this fella would find this interesting, or they would. And just as I've been playing, been thinking of all the people that we've spoken about Classic Plus with for, I'd say, the last 18 months since SOD started, really. And yeah, I have given a few of them the pitch of, I was pretty against private servers across the board in every way you could be, because I thought it was like scummy. You're ripping off Blizzard. I'm a self-admitted, I like Blizzard. I don't like everything they do, but you could say that I'm a Blizzard fan and the games that they make. And then I got caught up in the hype, and I'm like, all right, give it a fucking try. And then you're there, and their launcher runs arguably better than the Blizzard launcher, which I think is like a factor. You're not running just a shitty exe file with a manual login from your hard drive. Like, there's a launcher, you pick what version you want, exactly like the BNet one, but it runs nice, and then that's already a good entrance, you know what I mean? Like, it feels a lot more proper than what I had imagined playing on a private server would be. And then, yeah, just kind of across the board for me. I've only been online for, I think it's crashed 3 times, and 2 of them were in 5 minutes, and that's because they pushed a fucking massive patch and turned like achievements on and 1,000 fixes. So it's just, yeah, I'm swept off my feet, so to speak, just on how smooth everything's gone, really. I can't really tell the difference when I sit here for 8 hours at fucking launch and play. So
can I ask though, when you get your mates get back to you, and as I say, guys, I'm not sitting, I've never been one to romanticize private servers. This is not what's happening right now in terms of private servers on the whole as an industry and an option. But Yubi, when you have had your mates get back to you and go like, oh no, private server, no thanks. Do you, like I say, do you understand? Do you sort of go, yeah, fair play, or do you have a different reaction?
No, I get it, because it was me forever. And I guess this has just kind of convinced me that it's come a long, long way from what I remembered. I guess according to Mike, I had still had an opinion that was based in 2009, where you just imagined GMs giving their friends like Thunder Furies for free and unlimited gold and, shady undertable bullshit going on constantly. But this seems to be much more above board. But I do understand if they're also of that opinion that I had. But I'm just surprised by how much more cleaned up it is. And I guess because of the money involved now, like it's much more, it's in their best interest to, provide a good game and a good service.
And we've been seeing people, they announce to the server when people get banned, and they fuck off cheaters and they clean up the bots.
Yeah, I don't want to. You got to steer me away from this, but I'll mildly lean on it. It has pissed me off a little bit that I I hated this whole environment or ecosystem, and now it's rustling my jimmies a bit to see them. Haven't seen a bot. I haven't seen any Chinese named boars running around barons.
Yeah.
I've seen it pop up with the yellow font saying server. This fuckwit has been banned for hacking, and you just go, it seems like it is possible to have a botless society, and anyone that buys gold gets murdered by the GM and
Well,
shit like that.
I'll be the guy because I've been a defender of well, defender's a weird way to put it, but my stance on the whole botting thing in terms of Blizzard servers forever has been, guys, I think, I don't know because I'm not an IT professional, but I think the amount of people that Blizzard has kicking down their door to roll on their servers makes it near impossible to stop the deluge of bots and cheaters and whatnot from doing what they do on their servers, because it's just a non-stop account creation of just people trying to sell gold and do their thing, just rolling and re-rolling bot after bot. And I just wondered if like, because they were dealing with a customer base of 500,000 or 1,000,000 people, whatever the number is, that it just made it ridiculous. And I always gave them a pass because of the size issue, where I'm like, okay, I understand that they don't, they cut costs and they don't care as much about this stuff, but, is the tech there to stop it even if they wanted? And the answer from Blizzard, it's always tough taking it from Blizzard for years, has been no. This goes beyond a discussion about will or desire, and it becomes a discussion about ability. We have so many fucking bad actors trying to roll on our servers. We can't do anything about it. It's you're trying to dam up, patch up a fucking waterfall here. And I always gave them a pass for that. Now with Epoch, we have... Now, look, again, I know you guys will have to tell me if it's apples to oranges, because I'm happy to withdraw this point if it is apples to oranges. But finally, a private server has come along with some fucking girth to it in terms of player base size. And we've got 30-odd thousand people here with a couple of hobbyist admins to police via, no bots, no... hacking or cheating or whatever, and I believe that they're stamping out GDKP as well on these servers. And if these like, if these hobbyist admins can keep a bot-free server with 12,000 people on one server, 6,000 people on another, whatever it might be, and we start getting reports come in from all servers, from Kazan, from Menethil, that people have not been seeing bots, then my stance starts to change. And then I get angrier and angrier at Blizzard, where I've been the last person on the boat, sort of, like I say, I don't want to say defending, but understanding what Blizzard's been saying about the difficulty of stopping bots. This server could completely blow my stance on that out of the water, to the point that I'll just turn and go, you know what? Fuck them. They could have done something and they didn't. I'm not there yet. I need to see more, but I agree with you, Yubi. I haven't seen a single not one bot in near 48 hours played so far in the first week on this server.
Yeah, a common counterpoint used to be that there's not enough market demand to warrant bots trying to get on private servers.
That's right.
But
it's not
this server's literally bigger than like any of the anniversary servers.
100%.
And there's a fuckload of bots on there, and there's a fuckload of gold buying on there. So
yeah,
if they can police this, I'm sure Blizzard, I mean, they could come out and say, fuck SOD, fuck retail, fuck MOP. We're just going to police anniversary because clearly these guys can do it for this server. Like, they should be able to, stop the scourge of bots on at least there, because that's a small server, but they still can't. So they don't want to.
It's a great point about market demand being the other factor, because that's it. This server will have market demand for gold should an opportunity arise, 100%.
Yeah.
Sorry, someone was going to speak up there. Go for it.
Yeah, I was going to say that what's the financial motivators for the server? They want to have a clean, fun environment for people to play in, free of bots, so people eventually use the cash shop and stuff.
It's half their hook.
Down the line. Yeah. They don't have a sub fee. There's no monthly money coming in. So there's no motivation for them to take their time and say, we'll do ban waves eventually and figure stuff out. No, they need to handle stuff now before it becomes a problem. So they're incentivized to stamp it out before it even starts versus Blizzard. They're incentivized to say, let's take our time, figure stuff out, do ban waves eventually. We'll hit some people up. So it's a completely different model between Blizzard and private servers.
All right.
And
Go,
that
mate.
the fact that it's so policed actually makes it more tantalizing for the bot to try and get in. Imagine you're the only bot that manages to weasel through the wall and be the gold farmer on here. Like, there's that aspect, because it would be worth a fucking mozza. There'd be a bloke out there ready to PayPal 250
Yeah.
USD for 100 gold right now.
Parallax, I know what you're saying. Parallax has said in chat, I don't know, maybe it's still too new and the demand for gold isn't there yet. I know what you're saying, but I'll disagree in that on every other Blizzard server, we've seen gold sellers in the first few days. Like 100% on I can't remember whether it was SOD or anniversary, but you see like 4 or 5 days in, oh shit, you can buy 5 gold for fucking $15 or something. You know what I mean?
Now that we're gonna head off to the things that are good about the game, could you imagine the price of crafting mats on this server because crafting is good? Like, imagine those fucking pearls, same as
yeah.
SOD. In SOD, the pearl costs like 4 gold by now.
Well-
On here, they're a premium ingredient for a lot of things, and they're 90 silver because that's just what people can afford.
We've been losing our minds, and we'll get to it later because we'll talk professions eventually. But like one of the lines that we've been repeating in voice chat, and like this server has, 6 to 12 of us hanging out in voice chat every day for hours at a time, hanging out and shooting the shit while we level. It's the tagline from what I've always deemed to be fucking insane people saying, guys, actually, bots are good for a server because they drive down the price of mats. And I always lost my... Like, if you ever want to see me explode, and you have seen me explode before when this was brought up on a podcast, if you ever want to see me lose my shit, you say that. And we've been laughing about it, going like, no, like it turns out at the end of the day, a bot-free server is a great thing for everyone. And all the people that know why just hang out and realize why. And they level their professions and do their thing, but we'll get to it. Guys, look, we've kind of warmed up there. We've done half an hour now on a bunch of different things. How about we talk about what we're actually playing and the content of the server? Look, Yubi, I'm not quite sure how to frame this portion of the discussion, which is going to be the bulk of the discussion, but we'll just let everyone jump in and just, start a free-for-all as well. I'll police it as best I can and build some sort of structure out of this, but... Mate, if I can just get you started, Ubiquitous, on if there's listeners out there hearing this right now, and as I say, I'm somewhat loath to advertise a private server, but I'm having a fucking great time on this server, so I just want to tell people what we're doing. Mate, when you logged on and you started experiencing the content, how would you describe the difference between the content of this take on Classic Plus and what we've seen in the past from Blizzard? Or other servers, other private servers?
I would say that what they've delivered, which would shock many of listeners that know my stances over the last 2 years, this is much more, in my opinion, if on the gauge, closer to what, say, an anniversary player would actually be looking for, or maybe the TBC waiting room player, considering we're literally playing with TBC talents, than someone that's currently playing MOP and liking MOP. Like this is much more vanilla than what SOD was. This I've been jokingly calling it SOD light. I think I personally, I think it's a better spot for it to be in. There's not really anything too crazy. It does feel very 1 to 60 vanilla, but there's just, we're going to go through all of them, but they just pushed the bar about 15% across the board on everything they didn't add fucking extra wheels to the cart or anything. They added carts. That's a different story. But you know what I mean? They just took everything. If you think that vanilla's 10 out of 10, this is like, they've just made across the board 14 out of 10, in my opinion. They didn't make one thing 20 out of 10 and make one thing 5 out of 10. they just pushed everything in a very, very classic vanilla way forward. And yeah, it's been really fun. I think for your pod sequence or how you want to go through it, I think it would suit to kind of go from where we started and then how we stumbled through the game. Like no one really got into professions until a bit later.
Yeah. Well,
So
let me
kinda
say
start at the
this.
start and
Yeah, we'll start at the start. Well, I mean, and it's kind of when we start at the start again. Unfortunately, I just have to bring up something that's not necessarily gameplay. Well, it is gameplay related, but before you really log in and take those first steps with your character, people should realize like. Some people might be scratching their heads and going, hang on, Josh, you fucking hypocrite. You said on this show many a time, never again. You were done with 1x Vanilla WoW, never again. Blizzard had to do something different if they wanted to entice you in any form of Classic Plus server. And now here you are spruiking a fucking server that's 1x Vanilla. What gives? And I'd say that's absolutely fair to call me out on that. And I think
you made a perfect word then. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're right.
You said Blizzard would have to do something, and Blizzard hasn't. Even though the community has asked for it, and so many people have protested.
Sod was very different.
That's not what we wanted. This is what we wanted. This is actual Classic Plus.
That's fair.
It's not the same.
Well,
I would say that Sod was warranted and fun. I'm just more annoyed that they don't have anything now. Like
that's the nail in the coffin for them right now.
Yeah, it's the big. They left a big gap. They thought they could just shove everyone off from Sod to Mop with the boost, and we would like Mop, and that could kind of like, satisfy us in the meantime. I played Mop for 2 days, and I said, "This ain't it, Chief." And then I was just going to play. Thank fuck the Battlefield 6 beta was around to keep me occupied for a couple of weeks. So that's a big driver for why I ended up here. And that's probably maybe a little cry out for anyone else that's either farming Sod to fucking oblivion and they're getting a bit tired of it, or you forced yourself back to Anniversary, but it's not really your vibe.
Well,
that's why I ended up here.
Because
it's got no option for me.
That's kind of exactly where I came from. I was playing. I downloaded Mop. And it just wasn't scratching that itch, and I literally opened the Anniversary realm, created a character, sat in the starting zone, and I'm like, I just can't do it. I just don't feel it. And then I saw you guys chatting about this game, and I was like, oh, I need to check that out. And I think you're right. It's that 10 to 15, 20% everywhere. It's not like one area or one thing. It's got that little bit of exploration, a couple new quests, a little bit of class tweaking. It's enough everywhere to make the whole experience better.
Yeah, it is the literal sprinkles on top. And it starts at, for me, what I was getting at is it starts at a few choices that they've made in terms of how to present this vanilla world this time around. Because, I mean, that's what everyone wants. They want the vanilla world and you choose how to bake it and serve it to us. And they've gone with, all right, well, first and foremost, Wrath client. I said to you guys I would never fucking play on the 1.12 client again. That's why Turtle WoW will never grab me. I despise that client. Some of you think I'm crazy for saying that. There's a lot of 1.12 client stands out there. I am not one of them. And, that's why TWoW was never really a huge option for me. I was happy to wait on Epoch because I've got to get me that 3.35 client. 3.3.5, you know what I mean? So that's a great start. But then they go, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do basically TBC in a vanilla world with the Wrath client. And that trifecta, that three-headed dragon there is really, really helping. Because as you guys say, like, number one, everyone knows it's been, readily accepted universally for some time now that a TBC like pre-patch world is a world that a lot of players have wanted to live in. And we've been effectively delivered that on top of new custom content being added as well. And we'll get to all the,
Anniversary are literally asking for that right now. They're like, can we have TBC pre-patch in AQ and just play Nax with TBC stuff? Like, they're begging for it. And it's like, guys, it's just here. It's right here.
It exists. It exists already. So that's one thing. And then you've got, but the vanilla world, which is great because they've gone, all right, we'll give you your vanilla world that you know and love, but we'll also, as you guys are really well, like putting it so well, we'll change about 20% of it. And even and back to the 1x thing with like, Josh, you said you never play 1x again. Everything they've done, we're all saying it. We're all thinking the same thing. It sort of feels like 1.2x. As lame as that sounds, guys, it's basically 1x. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm seeing enough, like, just a few new quests here and there that you go off and do, and they're along the path that you were going along anyway. You get a few more things handed in, and look, I'm not leveling quickly. It is still like a little bit of a slog, but it's definitely quicker than 1x vanilla.
I'm like bang on 1-for-1 with my vanilla rate, and like I would say I'm a decently fast leveler, but it is the like I don't really know how to not try to over romanticize it. I'm only slowing down a little bit because I am authentically distracted about seeing what's going on in the game. Like, there's more quests and stuff is arguably easier to kill because you've got TBC skills. But just through the nature of the game of like, oh, fucking, I want to go look at my professions. Oh, there's a new quest here. I don't know where it is. I'm reading quests. That's actually slowed me down back to the original rate. But it feels quick because you're fucking engaged. Like, you're not even thinking about the speed of playing. Sometimes I've dinged and it's like, oh, fuck, I didn't even notice my XP bar for the whole last 2 hours because just running around finding new shit. Like, it's very, very immersive because you're just finding new shit constantly. And like that, we've been in Discord for 3 days. No one's even mentioned anything more than 5 yards in front of their character. Like, no one's asked a single meta question. No one gives a fuck. No one's talked about level 60. No one's even talked about the new dungeons because we're only doing the ones that they revamped. Like,
and it's the discovery element that they were trying to tap into with Season of Discovery, where players want to, have things somewhat unknown. They want to sort of not have the meta worked out yet. And people would say, but Josh, you're playing TBC. We know what the meta is. Yeah, but the spells have been lightly tweaked with, the numbers have been reconfigured slightly. So whilst we can guess which way the wind is probably blowing, we don't know quite yet. But it's a great point to touch on, Yubi, in terms of, again, you've been chatting to some people who, maybe kind of want to know, well, what's my path to rank 14? How many hours is that going to take? Who's the best DPS in the raid at level 60? What should I roll? Who's this? What's that? Tell me the solved game. And you have to reply with, I can't tell you because I don't know. We're just enjoying the journey and having fun figuring all this shit out along the way.
Yeah, perfectly distracted and then entertained is how I was putting it, because it actually threw me off. The people that I was DMing and inquiring about endgame or what's this class going to be like later, it put me off. I'm like, fuck, I haven't even thought about it.
We'll grab him later. It's the one name I'm always happy to throw under the bus because we'll grab him later to talk about it. It's Arcos. It's fuckwit. So
I mean, he is the sweatiest dog in this pen, so I do understand where he comes from. But it was actually like, I appreciate him asking it because it made me aware that the game has been, so encapsulating that we haven't even cared to discuss any of it or think about it, because all I care about is making my 31 mage 32 and what I find along that way, and then I'll worry about 33 and 34 and 35.
Yeah. Now, guys, let's just all talk about the stuff that we'll do it in a way. Let's do sort of no spoilers, but half spoilers, if that makes sense. So talk about things you've seen, but don't dive too deep into the detail. Things like, okay, I won't tell you what happened because I actually haven't done it, but I won't tell you what happens with the Mancrick's wife stuff, but just know that it's new. Mancrick's wife has been moved. There's new shit. It's a whole thing now. So dive in and have a look and see what happens. But, there's a bunch. Yeah, sorry, go for it.
I was going to say, the one that pops out to me, because I did this morning, is everyone remembers to swim across like Loch Modan, going to the hunting lodge in like the south, southeast, right? Corner, where you do the hunting lodge quest and you go all the way back to Loch Modan, Telsamar. They've actually put quests in the middle of the lake now.
On the little islands.
Mother, it's her name. It's almost Blizzard-like naming, where they call her Mother Tessa is the big, Loch Ness monster, and then you have to kill all the other ones around there too. So there's like 4 quests that make the whole route efficient, and so it doesn't feel as bad to go back and forth to the Hunter's Lodge.
Yeah, and there's a lot.
It doesn't feel weird. It just feels like it was always in the game.
There's a lot of that, and it's great. Now, look, there's not like a boatload of quests. Apparently, it might be a bit more we're hoping it might be a bit more backloaded, because like I am seeing new quests and they're great, but I wouldn't call it like a shitload of new quests by any stretch of the imagination.
Someone had said to me, I forget who in here, but apparently the bulk of their world editions are like above level 30, because that's when it did get thin. All the starting zones were already so well made. But with that said, like,
they made the new
I
troll and gnome starting zone.
The new like trolls have their own joint, and like I was about to bring that up. This is like, everyone knows me. I like leveling, and I'm usually a one character stand and go hard on it. I've already got two new characters because like I've seen what other races or what they've gotten involved in, and like I just got to go see it because I want to see what's going on over there and what's happened, and like even I saw a Tauren warrior and they've got some new flavorful like racial thing where they can carry a totem on their back, and he was dual wielding, and I'm like, that's the coolest shit I've seen in Warcraft for 20 years. I got to go make a Tauren warrior, and then I went and made one and leveled him for a bit. There's just so much, like, you're constantly peeking at what's under the hood of someone else's car, going, fuck, I need to go try that too. Like, it's just it's a very new feeling because prior to this everyone knew every race and classes jam for the first 30 levels or whatever they got up to. But now you just want to go see the new troll starting area. You'll just play a troll to level 12 to see what's going on.
It's a whole new experience, which is what a lot of us wanted out of a version of Classic Plus, right?
Yeah. I'd like to confirm for the long-term listeners that I did indeed get to level an undead character through Silverpine to level 18 without getting on a fucking Zep. The dream is true. So
well, I was going to bring that up. Let me just touch on that, Yubi, because like I'm saying, even though there's not a shitload of new quests early on, there's still enough to like keep you satiated. And when you get to there's a new mine in Tyr's Fall. That was fun. That was cool. But then you get to Silverpine and you sort of see what the ethos behind the construction of these new quests and filling out the world really was, because Silverpine, look, I'm going to say probably has 6 or 7 new quests, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is the perfect amount just to fill out that zone. I leveled a lot in Silverpine, which I've never done before, and I had a fuckload of fun doing it. And just extra little things like, maybe we didn't give you as much to do down the south of Silverpine, and here's some more shit down there. And really meaningful quest rewards when you get to the end of a chain and it's an elite quest at the end and you're like, oh, fucking great little green, I'll take there. Thank you very much. Silverpine felt fantastic.
Yeah, I do like I've noticed, put not a annoying amount, but pretty much everywhere's got an elite quest or even maybe like an elite area where you got to group up with the boys and go in there and conquer it for a bit. So I kind of like that, and then it ties in nicely with the party quest drops.
Please mention that.
Yeah, it's the shared quest drops. I don't know what's the Scarlet Insignias in Tyr's Fall. That there's 1,000 of you fighting on launch for drops, and now you can just party up and it'll drop for everyone. The only slight criticism for it is that it does mean that you can burn through quests getting fuck all kill XP, but that's obviously just the trade-off of convenience.
I don't think Yak, I'll get you guys to comment, everyone jump in on this one. I don't think Yak is far off. He's fucking spot on, because I was thinking the exact same thing. That every quest item is now shared. Every quest item is now shared is easily the best change to the game for me.
Yeah, it really takes no one wants to kill 40 of a mob.
It changes
trying
everything.
To pick up 10 things. There's a few that I found that didn't drop, but I'm under the suspicion that it's because they're sellable, and therefore you'd be duplicating items that can be sold.
We had issues with the dig rats.
Yeah. And there was probably some that were bugged. I know that the Wailing Essence in Wailing Caverns wasn't working, but apparently that's been fixed. According to Stan. So, that's just that's literally the only quest that came to mind that I've done so far that I tried to have sharing and wasn't, like, of all the ones that I've done. But it is a huge quality of life change, because get 8 of this and there's you're playing with two mates. It's like no one wants to go start getting 24 of them and you're there killing mobs for an hour. And they have, because it's the Wrath client, I believe quest drops are increased ever so slightly. Like you seem to get them a bit more consistently. I haven't had to kill 40 of anything to get 10 of something, which I know maybe some purists wouldn't like, but because there's more quests, you don't mind that you're jogging along to the next one. Yeah.
Oh, I have Ubiquitous. There is one quest I have encountered where I swear to God they made the drop rate worse.
Oh, really?
I was
But
I've been playing
yeah, it
hardcore
was
recently. My friend at work basically got me into it, and I started playing this, and I was trying to convince him to come over, and I said, the best way I can describe it to you is you are knocked off autopilot. I could do every quest in Elwyn Forest with my eyes closed. You know, it's boring. I've done it. It completely knocks you off autopilot. Because there's so many different little things where you're like, wait a sec, I'm going, but shouldn't I be going this way?
Yeah.
And it just completely redefines the game. For anyone that's even doubting how much different this game genuinely is, make a level 1 character, walk out of the human, walk out and just go check out Goldshire. Goldshire has been totally revamped. It's no longer 2 buildings and a whole bunch of people just dancing in front of the inn. It has got about 15 buildings now. There's about 5 to 6 new quests that completely lead you in different areas. The Tower of Azura that's sitting out in the middle of Elwyn Forest is actually a place that you want to go now. There's things to do there. It is so much different in Elwyn Forest that it makes it just
we'll touch on
great.
eventually. We'll get to DM, Wailing Caverns, Durnhold Keep, all that stuff that we've seen so far that is entirely different. But before we get there, anyone who's not named Ubiquitous for a second, I want to touch on one thing before I forget on the grouping quality of life things that have been introduced to the game as well. We talked about shared quest items, but also this server has made an interesting choice in terms of the way in which experience works in a group. So we'll have the big conversation about sort of who this server is for, or maybe that's just going to weave into everything that we're saying. But I would call this a controversial decision, because it's not controversial to me. I'm on board with it, but I know a lot of vanilla purists who would fucking vomit at this choice. And we've argued about this before in the Discord in years gone by, and some people are really for it. Some people are really against it and say it's antithetical to the sandbox style of game that WoW is. But basically they've completely capped your experience. And I know that Blizzard has more recently taken some form of action against, the boosting meta and whatnot by messing around with experience gain. So it's not like a unique concept or anything. Other private servers, I'm sure, have tried as well. But this one's basically said, look, if the mob is grey to anyone in the party in your dungeon group, you're getting like 1 experience from every kill. You get fuck all experience. It's not worth it. Don't do it. Be mindful of who's in your group and what their levels are, because we're not doing the boosting thing on this server. I have been okay with it. Yes, it's already caused like the mildest of inconveniences when you go like, hey, Stan, do you want to come do this SFK? Oh, you're too high. You're level 28 or something, and 3/4 of the instance will be grey to you, so it'll dick over everyone else. That's all right. We'll get someone else. Like, I've already encountered the quote-unquote negative side of it. It just doesn't bother me as much as it might others. So again, anyone who's named Ubiquitous, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
I want to see if I can debunk this just with one word that both you and Yubi have used, Josh, if that's all right, and that was purists. And so far, this is clearly not a private server for purists. This isn't a recreation of vanilla WoW and the hashtag no changes like we've experienced before. So I think because you're removing that attitude and that kind of player, like the power level inside of things got massively out of hand on official Blizz servers, to the point where they stepped in and went, look, no, we don't want this, so we're cutting it out at the source. And the purists aren't here to get pissed off and mad at that. I've not seen anybody in any experience I've had in the last 21 hours played since last Sunday kick off that something's different to how it was originally. So this is just another one of those changes that people aren't here to be upset about, I think, or certainly that's like from my perspective of it.
It's definitely
I
raised.
can see with, like you say, the
Sorry, keep
Sorry,
going,
go on.
mate. No, you keep going. What's?
No, I was just saying, like with the accelerated leveling, or if you've got somebody in your group that's too high a level, yes, I can see the negativity of that. But you know, if it stops majors selling boosts and in turn gold being regurgitated into the economy, you know, to those individuals, then maybe it's one of those things that, all right, I don't want to say you have to suffer it because I don't feel like it's suffering as much, but it's just one of those things we have to sort of get over for a bigger sort of reward or advantage to everyone in the end, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for the greater good. Anyone else on this one?
I would say
Well,
that it's
I was-
actually more pure. It is more towards that antithetical way things used to be in vanilla. Boosting was not a thing really in vanilla, like the way it is with classic and everything now. So doing something like this actually makes it feel more like what it used to be.
Yeah, I would always lose my mind because there's always going to be someone out there going, yes, it was a thing back in vanilla. You're a fucking idiot, blah, blah, blah. I always lost my mind to those responses when like one guy did it in 2006. So people say it was a thing. And it's like,
Yeah,
you know
no.
what we mean.
Yeah, it was not like anything what it is now because the game's been solved for 15 years. So people have had time to practice on private servers and classic and different versions of the game to make boosting what it is today. Back in vanilla, when I played, it was not a thing. Maybe you had one guy on the fringe doing this stuff, but it was not a common issue that anybody had to worry about. And I want to live in that world where it wasn't a thing.
Yeah, it wasn't an issue that became part of the server culture. So Yak and Axel, I think one of you guys or both of you guys were going to say something. Who wants to go first?
Well, I was just going to say that, you know, within an MMO, anything that promotes people playing together is like what you're going to want, right? And so that's why the shared quest mobs are so great. You get to group up together, you're playing together with the other people in the world instead of like trying to dickishly, you know, out tag each other. And with the level boosting, it's like you're not playing together. Four people are dicking around having a conversation at the best while one person plays the game, right? And it's just kind of defeats the point of playing an MMO, at least in my opinion.
I
Yak,
didn't even know they made that change, to be honest.
All right.
You're breaking the news to me.
Yak, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I'm super happy that they're addressing the boosting issue. It's the only problem that I've seen with it so far is that if somebody levels while you're in the dungeon and then that first mob in the dungeon becomes great at them, all of a sudden everybody's experience gets nuked. So like in RFC, if you hit level 20 and everybody else in your group is like 16 or 17, like nobody's getting experience anymore. So there needs to be some form of a tweak.
Most dungeons have really low level mobs at the start compared to the end. Like one ding largely shouldn't really fuck the whole run, and if you are dinging in the dungeon, it's usually not in the first corridor either.
Yeah,
Like
just
statistically.
We were in RFC and we had just taken down the first boss when our tank dinged, and then we were going in towards like that second boss, the evoker guy, and everything back there was giving us like one experience for the rest of the run.
Marcus, you like to ding in the dungeon, don't you?
Oh, I love it, mate. It's like my favorite thing to do.
Very good. Well, look, guys, we'll keep going. We'll just sort of talk about more about the things that you've enjoyed that you spotted again without kind of going too spoilery. But you know, for anyone interested, look, I've rolled an undead warlock. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm level 25 at the moment. Like I said, tore through Tirisfal Glades, tore through Silverpine Forest, and making my way through Hillsbrad at the moment. And just on the warlock side of things, I'll say, look, there were a couple, again, private servers. They're going to be kinks. There were a couple of things that I thought maybe I was experiencing just as an OCE player. And we haven't even mentioned, by the way, everyone, like the ping to this, whatever they've done with the ping, everyone is saying this is the smoothest feeling private server that they've ever touched. And I've played a lot, And I generally don't dive into private servers because I'm dealing with 350 ms on a 1.12 client that feels like 450 ms. It is the most sluggish experience of all time. But this one is night and day. It's completely different. It's number one, the client, again, moving on to 3.3.5. But also just, I don't know what the fuck they've done on the back end. I get basically the same ping. This server, I believe, is in London. I basically get the same ping to this server that I would on a West Coast NA server. So it feels like about 220 to me when it should be like 350, 360. I don't know how they've shaved off that 1 to 150 ms in feel, but it doesn't feel, I still feel the lag. It's still like, 200 odd lag and whatever. And if you're the kind of person that, refuses to play on an NA server because you need 20 ms or the game's literally unplayable, then yeah, okay, you're not going to like this. Sorry, you've got, a higher palette for ping than I. But it feels better than it has any right to do, and I don't understand it. You guys have felt the same, right?
Yep, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You described the word sluggish is what I would use to describe most experiences I've had with private servers, but this one is good. It's not sluggish. I feel like I'll be able to PvP and not be 3 minutes behind my opponent. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
I only notice it when I talk to NPCs. I don't know how they've managed to put it's very, very crisp when I right click items to pick up, or all the combat's really smooth. It's just the NPC and like mailbox interaction where I go, I've got 200 ping. Other than that, it feels pretty fucking good.
I mean, there's little things that I wouldn't say are necessarily ping related, but like I said, there are still kinks. This server isn't perfect technically by any means, but it's still fantastic. But like I thought it was just me. I thought it was the OCE ping where I basically said, looks like I can't really play warrior because I was charging 1 yard past the mob and having to do a 180 instantly every time I engaged. And it was really fucking annoying. So, but you guys said yesterday that wasn't just me, that was everyone. So the server hasn't quite worked out warrior charge. For some reason, feral charge is working fine, but not the warrior charge. So that's an issue they might fix up later on, but it's kept me off warrior for now. But on the warlock also, and this wouldn't just be warlock related. I'm not sure if all of you guys get this, but I definitely get it. Private servers in the past have had this issue with tab targeting where, for whatever fucking reason, I often have to double tap tab to get it to actually shift target. So I'm there shadow bolting with reckless abandon on one target, and the second I want to start casting on the mob to its right or left, I have to hit tab twice, not once, and it's a little bit annoying, but I mean, it's a minor thing. But the warlock has felt fantastic, and I mean, just on the class thing, like they've made a lot of class changes, guys, but they're relatively minor ones, but great quality of life. Soul Shard stacked to 3, and that is just, it's been done before in more modern versions of the game, but it's a game changer. It's a great mix between still keeping a little bit of the vanilla friction and also not being stupid about it, where my bags still fill up. I'm still deleting soul shards all the time and being like, oh fuck, I can't loot that, my bags are full. Oh well, time to get rid of some soul shards. But I'm deleting 30 and not 10, and it feels really good. It feels right. I really quite enjoy it. And the Drain Soul being an execute now, but not an overpowered execute. It's one of those weird ones where it ticks just enough to make it worth pressing, because you're probably not going to get the Shadow Bolt off in time in that last 20% where the mob's going to go down. But it also doesn't feel lame to press it. Like, you do see a bit of feedback and see their health going down execution style while you drain soul. It's just a really nice little tweak. It makes makes the button feel really fun to press, and you get that purple, fucking Voldemort line going out of you, and you're like, yeah, die, sucker. And I know more modern versions of WoW have Drain Soul being executed with Warlock, and it's a vanilla execution of it, and it feels really, really good. What classes are you rolling, guys, and what positive or negative changes have you felt so far?
I'm playing an undead mage. I'm not playing rogue for the first time in fuck knows how long. I went with this because there's nothing they could do with Rogue that was going to make it new for me. Because I mean, if it's based on TBC and with a bit of Wrath in it, I've been there and done that. So I figured while I'm getting into essentially like C plus, may as well try a new class as well and just get like triple the fucking new experiences, so to speak. It's been pretty fun. I mean, it's literally, from what I understand, it's TBC Mage, but you also get Arcane Barrage as a default ability, and
Right.
Arcane Blast is in the tree somewhere. So
Yep, they jacked up Arcane a bit more. Who can we call on? Who wants to step up to the plate, guys, and gas up their class?
I'm playing a Tauren Priest.
Yeah, talk to us about the Tauren Priest.
Oh yeah, I'm playing a Tauren Priest. I'm trying out the new Smite spec kind of thing they got going on.
Yeah,
where
they juiced it. The Smite dream is here.
Yeah. I've always wanted to do it. Always wanted it to be a reality. So they kind of said we're going to make it a little bit. They're not going to like balance end game around it, but they said, hey, you should be able to level a lot easier without having to go Shadow. So I'm definitely giving the whole Smite Holy Fire kind of spec a try.
Has it been fun?
Not really. Well, it hasn't really come into its own yet. I need a few more levels to really start unlocking some of the talents that are going to make it a thing. I'm only level 22, so hopefully by my end of my 20s, I should start seeing some results with it. Most of what they've changed, they said, is like the spell coefficient, so it won't really kick in too much until you start getting spell power. But it should kick in pretty good once you can use a talent that unlocks spell power with your spirit and things like that. So it might be a very heavy spirit-based priest build kind of thing going on.
Yeah. Someone else was going to talk before?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've been playing Warrior.
How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad.
Did you notice the charge thing?
Yeah, it was. I think it's gone now, mostly. It very rarely happens now, whereas it was almost every charge.
Okay.
They have buffed the open world mob difficulty to account for the player power, which you do feel compared to vanilla, but I think it's not as bad as it was in SOD. Victory Rush doesn't heal, it's the TBC version, so you don't get to rely on that. But I think that the out of combat health regen is way higher than it is in normal vanilla, so that helps a lot as well. But the incoming damage isn't big.
Yeah,
the only time you really notice it is a caster mob that they seem to just chain cast. That's all they do, and they really wreck you.
Caster mobs are cracked.
Yeah, they are. But call me crazy. I feel like the out of combat health and mana regen, you feel much more in those earlier levels, and it becomes less noticeable later on. Has anyone else experienced that?
Yeah. Below 10, it was pretty cracked.
Yeah.
And then after I got past level 10, I was like, okay, it's starting to slow down now. And now it kind of feels like it normally does.
Yeah. At 25 as a warlock, it feels very normal. I don't feel like it's crazy by any like I'm going, come on, health, come on, mana.
I've only just hit 20, so I haven't felt it yet.
Okay. Now
I was gonna say.
Yep.
I was gonna say Druid feels really good with the added attack power on weapons.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mike's been tanking for us, and he keeps yelling out all this AP on stuff that doesn't appear on the tooltip for me, but he says appears for him, which would be a great troll, by the way. Just, this fucking intellect star's got AP on it. All right, I'll take your word for it, Mr. Druid, and just roll on it anyway. But
it actually does. So only druids can see the extra AP to bonus that it gives you in your forms.
Yeah.
But almost all weapons above like level 10 and like they're green, they all have like different AP bonuses for like the different forms. And it really just makes it feels so much better. Like leveling bear through Darkshore usually is a slog, but it felt so much better and easier. And then also just the reputation items that you get, which I don't know, we haven't really touched on that yet, but
yeah,
all of that.
We'll get there.
So much easier and better.
We'll be all over the place. We'll get to it all eventually. But like, yeah, it was funny because we were in a DM and lo and behold, Emberstone staff drops, and I'm like, fucking happy birthday, hell yeah. And you know, we live in a free roll society. I'm not as much as I am a loot whore in terms of my obsession with loot. I don't like encourage people not to roll against me or do stupid shit to fucking collect loot for myself only. But Mike goes, holy shit, look at the AP on that thing. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I don't see any AP on it. Are you about to fucking roll on this thing? And he goes, hell yeah. And he's like, Josh, I swear there's AP on it. And I'm like, oh, all right. But if you get this thing, I'm going to fucking die. And that's when I pulled out the hundo against his 92, and I was fucking doing laps of ecstasy around the room. Because I'm a piece of shit. But then completed the set. God, we did an amazing SFK run. All my dungeon runs have been guild runs. It's been fantastic. We met a lovely guy who filled out the 5th spot for our SFK run this morning. A British guy, and we'll talk about the 24/7 nature of the server very soon. But this British guy, and normally I say to people like, hey, look, 4 of the 5 of us here are in voice. Come join if you want. And he goes, yeah, fuck it, why not? And he gets in, and he's the fucking loveliest guy of all time. Shout out Expired Tuner. And he was fucking pumping with this blue crafted, I believe it was a crafted sword that he had. And oh my God. And he joined the guild. So he's happy. We're happy. Very, very good. Making friendships and socialization is alive and well. But my point was in this SFK run, I managed to score the Rose of Aragorn and the shoulders as well. So I'm a little bit decked out now and feeling very good about myself. Now, someone else is going to talk about another class. Who was that?
I was going to just mention playing a dwarf shaman has been fun. One, getting to try, the new ally shaman. And it's the little things like in the talent tree, they just switched the placement of the cast time reduction and the crit talents on your lightning bolts. So rather than being able to finally cast your lightning bolts fast at level 40, you can start casting your lightning bolts fast in your early 20s. Which is not actually more effective than leveling enhance like always, but it's different and it's fun. And it's, I've played a bunch of shamans and I've never bothered leveling elemental in my early 20s, and this time I am, and it's nice to have that change of pace.
Fred, I'm not sure if you're just listening in, but does that titillate you at all?
Can you hear me, by the way?
We can now, absolutely.
We can now.
Okay, yeah, great. I had to reconnect. And sorry to go way back. One small point. That's what I was trying to say earlier. On the gray XP thing, that's how Nostalrius and Elysian were.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, so if you're like a private server player, this is like nothing surprising, and it's and these were the servers that people at the time before we had the classic releases were saying were Blizz-like and just like how it was, So it's sort of this weird, almost revisionist thing to say, well, now it's so different. I mean, it's not different than how 2004 was, because clearly when we didn't have 2019 Blizzard Classic, we didn't miss this because no one was actually doing it. It's obviously a huge deviation from 2019 Classic. Everyone's boosting out of their minds, but totally different situation. Anyway, that's what I was trying to say earlier. Sorry for totally going off topic on that one.
That's all right. Have you looked at the shaman? Have you looked at the shaman changes?
I have looked at them. I mean, I personally think that Wrath Shaman is a lot more fun than TBC Shaman. And in this TBC Enhanced Plus, you have.
I agree.
You have weaving, but it's like kind of like a sketch weaving because you don't have Maelstrom weapon. You just have like this thing on the dual wield talent. So I'm a hunter, but yes, it's definitely improvement over vanilla. But I mean that bar is in hell.
Fair enough. Hey, Creative.
Raid wide buffs help shamans out in this, I guess.
Oh, massively. Everything's raid wide virtually, isn't it?
Yeah, most of the buffs are.
Crudef, you raised something I didn't realize. Now, there are more, again, a lot of you have said, Josh, okay, fine on the 1x vanilla, but you also said you'd never roll on a server with 3-minute walkbacks to your body again and you were done. I did say that, and thankfully this one has, I think, the TBC version of the graveyards where there's more graveyards. It's quite noticeable, and you seem to run back to your body a little bit quicker, so it's nowhere near as painful as the stuff that I've griped about in the past, particularly for PvP enthusiasts if you're dying on a semi-regular basis. But also, Crudef, is that true? Are the Griffins actually faster? I haven't noticed.
Oh, they feel faster and they feel more direct. Maybe that's more of a TBC or Wrath client feature, but yeah, it certainly feels like it.
Good. I have noticed some more optimized flight routes, so maybe that's a thing.
Plus the carts.
Yeah, who wants to talk about the carts?
Since you brought up Shaman, the Dwarf Shaman, sorry, I got to fit it in. Undead Pally and Dwarf Shaman just look so much better out in the world than fucking Blood Elves and Draenei running everywhere.
Yeah.
Like now that it's here, Undead Pally is the coolest fucking thing.
But everyone
in the
knew
world.
everyone knew it was going to be a winner, and we've called for it for years, and it's never been done. Now it's here, and look
It's
what
not
happened.
an eyesore. It doesn't stand out. They just look fucking cool.
They
and,
look
like, that's it.
amazing. They feel amazing, and lo and behold, a quarter of the server rolled one.
Yeah.
I'll stick Dwarf Mage in that category as well.
There's Dwarf Mages?
Yep.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yep.
I haven't seen any yet. That's pretty cool.
There you go.
And
But
Gnome Priest too, I think.
Yeah, like Undead Hunter.
Gnome Priest, Human Hunters. Yeah, there's a few new class.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Undead
there's
Hunter.
Undead Hunter looks creepy with the bat pets everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Undead Paladin has been a huge winner. People are very, very happy with them so far. I've got one as my alt, and I'm very happy with it. Guys, with any
You
other
and the rest of the server.
Yeah, exactly. Just yell out if anyone's playing a class that we haven't discussed yet that they want to give some love to on Epoch. But look, outside of that, there is it's the same old line of a lot of familiarity combined with just enough new stuff to make it interesting. Now, Yubi, I feel like we should probably talk about the dungeons here. Because otherwise, not that I'll forget, but it's a good part.
Can I bring up one thing that's kind
Yeah.
of related, just as a little segue? The cross-faction nature of the server.
Oh yes, thank you. Because there's so many things to talk about. So just if we're forgetting something, just yell it out, please. Go for it.
Well, I was earlier talking about how MMOs, you want people playing together. That's the whole fucking point. And so cross-faction's been great. The fact that we have one big guild, we have how many of us in 70 guild members. We're across both factions. We haven't killed each other out in the world yet, but we probably will.
Yet.
But we can also dungeon with each other too.
Yeah, and raid. It
Yeah,
is
eventually.
cross-faction raiding, right? Am I getting that right?
I believe so.
think there
But we'll
is.
see if we all play that long.
Yeah. Let's dive in on that note for a second, because again, I have had numerous let's call them energetic discussions with people in the past about this. It's World of Warcraft, Josh. The factions should under no circumstances be allowed to play together. You need to have a villain. You need to make your choice. Doesn't fuck your and fuck 5 years ago I probably said this on the podcast. Fuck your friends. You'll make new ones. Just fucking get in there and pick a faction. It's the lifeblood of this game. It's buried in DNA coded into World of Warcraft. That this is what makes this one unique to a certain degree. Pick a faction and get on with it. And then we have the other side of the argument, like you guys say, going, "Oh, isn't it refreshing that my friends we can play anytime and it doesn't matter that they lost at the fucking character selection screen." I've been very pro this over the last 2 years on the podcast. We talked about it in regards to retail. I've said that in my opinion, this is an incredibly antiquated concept and not for the better. When you divide friends and you put a roadblock in front of them from playing together in an MMO, that is a very bad thing. Again, I appreciate that some people greatly disagree with me, but that's been my evolved take. I was team factions, and now I'm team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't have factions, but have crossplay between the factions. To some extent, you've got to allow people to play with their friends. I've been big on it, and so many, again, real vanilla lovers have been like, don't do it. But then you come to this server, and I couldn't help but notice not a single fucking person is complaining. And it's been a really common theme of this server. It's got all these things that people have gone ballistic about in the past that it's not controversial on this server. No one of the 30,000 people playing it is complaining. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. It wasn't a big deal at the end of the day. Do you guys know what I'm saying here?
No one's complained. Yeah. I'm probably the only person, but I think it's that you're distracted by 100 good things. That even I'm still someone that's I like Horde versus Alliance, and in my perfect C+ utopia, it would be that way. But when there's 1,000 other fun things going on, and I mean, I'm about as resistant as a fucking leaf in the wind. Anyway, I'm a silver linings operator. I enjoy that we can all play with the countdown crew. Yeah, I think it's just like there's enough other good things happening that you kind of, even if you are like me, you're like, whatever. Like, can't win every front. There's 50 other victories going on, so. But I'm probably an anomaly in being the person that still likes faction rivalry.
Anyone else on cross faction?
I still like faction rivalry. I still like the traditional Horde versus Alliance. I still think that's a better setup. But at the same time, I got to realize that it is pretty convenient to just have to tell people, just roll on the server, to do whatever you want, play the faction you want to play the race you want to play, check out the zones you want to check out. Don't have to worry about that stuff. That is nice. But in the grand scheme of things, I do wish it was more Horde versus Alliance.
Is it possible to? Oh, sorry.
You go, Fred.
Can we invert if you want to play on PvP, play on a PvP server? Like, it seems to be totally fine to have cross faction if you were on the PvE server. If you want PvP,
I was going to say we're mostly all playing with war mode on anyway.
Yeah, there's war mode on the PvE realms with an incentive to toggle it. We'll go to war mode.
Yeah, like a small 5% experience. But I mean, I still see Horde out in the world, and I still consider like, am I going to throw some lightning bolts at this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it made it less important because I reckon I've seen more red alliance than I've seen not. Like probably 2 to 1. It's actually more common for people to be rolling with war mode on. So I really haven't noticed the whole cross faction like that. It's actually probably the ideal scenario where you can go do a dungeon with your alliance buddies, but it's still a realm with PvP on because so many people have toggled it on and all that shit. So I think it's actually the perfect medium. Now that we're experiencing.
It is kind of weird though because you can talk to the people you're PvPing now. Because I had like 2 Alliance tried to jump me, and I killed both of them because they were lower level, but they tried to jump me, and they whispered me after like, "Oh, good job," and I was like, "Okay, that's kind of fucking weird."
Yeah,
but
that is weird.
It's just something I got to get used to now, and I've told myself I'm done with PvP servers. I'll go PvE from now on just because I can't stand the cancer that is PvP servers. But it's a different experience, and it just is what it is.
It does open the door to a lot of toxicity. Yeah, Yubi.
It needs mentioning. The cross faction is like literally just for instanced content. You can't go quest with your homies.
I thought you could. I thought you could do anything outside together.
Well, it's yet to be seen. I don't know if people have gotten to neutral quests.
Oh, the way they describe it, the way they describe it on the website is fucking everything.
I know, like
neutral quests haven't been shareable. Those WC quests are neutral.
Yeah, I think some people just hear cross faction and imagine the whole game's just running around with your alliance and orc friends. It's like, no, you're still out in the world, and you can't come to Crossroads and do fucking Crossroads.
No, you can't go. You can't go to a fucking Horde town if you're Alliance. But if we're out in the middle of nowhere in the Barrens for whatever reason, and you're Horde and I'm Alliance, can't I still invite you to group? We kill a mob and share that experience.
I don't know, but like they won't have the same objectives.
Yak is saying yes.
As you. Yeah. Oh, like I mean, if you just want to go grind mobs together, I mean that's fucking insane. But I'm just saying it's not as open doors cross faction as some lunatic would probably interpret what we're saying.
Right.
Yeah. It's more. It's just so that you can go. At least for me, it's like you can go do fucking Shadowfang Keep with a pally or a human pally, and your friends. But there's also still the part where like I can still come and kill your friends if he has war mode on or PvP enabled.
Right.
And you're just gonna I don't know what the interaction's gonna be, but like we've killed other alliance members out the front of a horde dungeon. Like they've summoned them and then we've killed them.
Yeah. I love that the first day,
there's all that funny interaction.
Day two outside RFC. We've spotted our first alliance member just sitting right there out the front of the instance portal to RFC. And all the boys have gone, hang on, I can just attack him, right?
Yeah. And then the horde's going, you try to kill my healer.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's your healer, not ours.
I think the cross faction is really more for group content. Because I think it still goes back to their early days of this is going to be a low pop server.
Yes.
And so therefore,
yes.
we're going to need more people to group together so they can play. If there's only like 100 Alliance and 100 Horde, that way they have more options. But
Yeah.
obviously, it's a
you're
lot
right. I mean,
different.
I was
Since
gonna,
then,
I was going to mention, like, yeah, you're spot on. It was brought in out of necessity because they thought fucking no one would be playing on this server. But now there's everyone playing on this server and it's still there. But I think it's still been embraced by the larger populace.
Yeah, it's going down pretty smooth. I was curious whether it was a design choice or a social choice. Like,
I think it
like
was.
dead out of
I think it was
necessity.
pure necessity. Every private
Yeah.
server now launches with cross faction play because they think they'll have fucking no one playing it.
Yeah, but yeah, I just look for the positives. It is fun. It's added more fun to the game. So
Yeah, definitely.
it's different. It's different.
even if
And I'll be
even if
interested
I
to
allowed
see
us all
how.
to group together.
yeah, I do.
And I'll be interested to see how it works out long term, so we can see, hey, how's this going to affect end game? How does this affect the whole like kind of life cycle of the server? And
Yeah.
if it's a pro or con, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it works out.
Let's talk about the dungeons without. Sorry. Who was that going to? That was you, Axel.
It's actually, I was just going to say one consequence of this is also that summoning stones are active, which I mean is also just it being TBC based, but it's a real necessity for cross faction, right? Without the ability to summon Voodoo in front of Stockades so that he only gets murdered twice on the way in, we wouldn't be able to have done that Stockades run.
That's right. Guys, let's talk about the dungeons there, speaking of stockades. Again, it's really important that we don't get spoilery on this one because there is stuff that you genuinely don't want to get spoiled. There's, now granted, the guys who built Project Epoch built this over a number of years, and it was just like, 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. They've drastically changed Dead Mines and Wailing Caverns. And they do have new dungeons at level 60 and I believe there might be a new raid coming, and they've jazzed up Onyxia's Lair and all that stuff. So they've gotten in there and done new stuff for us. But I believe that they've sort of done it with the message that, look, Dead Mines and Wailing Cavern, don't expect every dungeon to be completely redesigned. They've basically only really done that for Dead Mines and Wailing Caverns, I believe. And everything else after that is business as usual, save for they have introduced new boss mechanics across the board. So every boss you encounter in a dungeon basically has a new mechanic. And it's been really fun seeing all that stuff and having to, again, I think it fit the bill really well for what they've done, where the new mechanics they've introduced with these dungeon bosses, they're what the classic player base wants. They're not difficult. They're just new. So it just asks you to if you sit there and play AFK and you're watching a Netflix movie and you're just spamming Frostbolt or Shadowbolt, yeah, you might die on the boss. So pay mild attention and do the one stupid little mechanic, or not stupid, but like the one interesting new mechanic that they're asking you to do. But outside of that, I mean, I've run through RFC, DM, Dead Mines, SFK, and Wailing Caverns thus far, and just thoroughly enjoyed all of them. Number one, for the tweaking to the difficulty of the mobs. They really feel like they've got the correct levels of HP, and it takes just the right amount of time to down all of these elites and the bosses particularly. The outside world, I'm not as stoked with how they've juiced some of the mobs like we talked about earlier. Some mobs feel a little bit unfair, and I've complained.
That farmer really upset you, didn't he?
He really did. I died about 10 times in 1 hour in one part of Silverpine Forest that I was going ballistic about, having flashbacks to my rants about sod, which, it's a bad idea to juice up mobs in the outside world too much, but it's mostly okay. There's just 1 or 2 patches where it's not so much the mob difficulty that they've gone too hard on, it's the density. And I've shared like 3 screenshots of mobs in the outside world where they've literally just placed 3 or 4 of them within 5 yards of each other, and no one could ever solo it for a normal quest. And I'm like, that's dumb. That's a little bit dumb. Come on now. But back to the instances. They feel really good difficulty wise, but also the DM and the WC redesign. Look, guys, it's not what you think. They have completely redesigned them. Our jaws were on the floor going through Wailing Caverns. It is fucking beautiful what they've done. It is completely different. You have no idea where you're going. And
Yeah.
yeah, you go.
I got the authentic 2004 experience where we got fucking lost. We had to run around the dungeon for 20 minutes.
You spent
to
2.5 hours in there your first run.
Yeah. My first Wailing Caverns was 2.5 hours, which I mean might fucking shock some people, but damn, that warrior was shit.
You did have an ordinary group, yeah.
Yeah, the group was really really ordinary. But yeah, like we cleared it, and like fucking all the bosses are cool. They got new stuff that they do. Yeah, but it's an entirely new space, like kind of what a few people were wishing for in SOD. Like the only part that's the same is the first fucking corridor. You go down that ramp, and then when you get to where it would open up to Wailing Caverns, you're going, well, I have no idea where I am in all of Azeroth because this is the first time I'm ever seeing this physical space. And then yeah, we cleared through it. I mean, it wasn't hard, but fuck, it was a fun adventure. And I'm shocked at actually how well they have got the difficulty. Like it is, you can handle a pack, you don't have to CC every pack, but when the level 18 warrior butt aggro's an extra pack, it's like the fucking poly's got to come out, the ice trap, you have to CC, and it's a fucking sketchy.
I've
If
loved
you pull
it.
2 packs, it's sketchy. And like even the bosses, I found the time to kill is pretty much like spot on. Like I get to use my fucking mana bar as a mage fighting the boss, and then like a lot of these fights, if I'm popping icy veins and going ham, like I have to use evocation. Like who the fuck's ever had to use evocation to kill a boss in Wailing Caverns because it lasted so fucking long?
Yep.
But in the mechanics, they like you said, move out of the fire, but it does let you stand in it for 2 seconds without killing you. Like
Yep.
it's full. I don't know. They've really nailed it with the difficulty, I think.
Oh, CC is fucking back on the menu, boys, and it feels amazing. And I really like it. And I know there's people who are like, oh, it's fucking boring. But I think it's fantastic. I've had to cast, no joke, about 100 fears across 4 dungeons. And look, granted, maybe 2/3 of those I didn't have to cast, but I did it just to be on the safe side because we've pulled a 4-pack. Let's just fuck one of them off because these mobs do hit rather hard, and I'll just make it a little bit easier on the healer and the tank. And it's really not for nothing. Like it's when you fear one of them, it's noticeable, the difference. And plus, I'm absolutely busting out Curse of Weakness on each pack that we encounter, for sure. It's fantastic. You notice it. And like, Mike's in the crowd listening. I'm not sure if he wants to. Mike, if you can't jump in, that's all good. But like, we'll come back to DM and WC. Trust me. I just want to say we did Durnhold Keep yesterday, and UBU watched us do it as I streamed it on Discord. There was 4 of us, and they've completely redesigned that to be a new Jintha Allure. It is an outside dungeon experience, and everything in there is elite. It fucking hits hard. You have to be paying attention. And, exactly like Jintha Allure, just be on point. You'll get it done in about an hour. If you have shit players or players that don't know how to use their class, you'll die. And I had a fucking amazing time. It was so fun. New quests in there, new areas. Like it's not just like, oh yeah, we've put the something up there for you to go through. No, it is really cool. You feel like you're basically doing a dungeon as soon as you walk through the doorway, if you will, the archway to Durnhold Keep. I can't commend them enough for that. And my point was, like, there were 4 of us. I would have cast 200 fears over that hour. I had to keep a mob off mic because of the difficulty, and it felt fucking amazing having the responsibility of needing to constantly fear juggle. Now they 10-second fear every time, no DR, but just like juggle that mob, cast fear, cast 3 shadow bolts, then back to the fear on the mob, couple more dots, back to the fear on the mob. Okay, now they're all dead. We'll kill the mob that's been feared the whole time. It felt great. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, the no spoiler way of describing it is that it's an undestroyed Durnhold Keep. It's like it time traveled back to before it got fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's very, very, very cool.
Anyone else on the CC? Like I've just felt like I've been using all of my classes' utility in every aspect of this server so far, and I fucking love it. All of my buttons absolutely are called on to being pressed. Have you guys felt the same or not?
Yeah, I'm using my whole toolkit to keep people alive.
Yeah, how's the healing been going, Vestige? Talk to us about it.
It's been a little hard sometimes. It depends on the group you get. You definitely want to make sure you have the right level appropriate group for the instance you're going. Don't try to carry people too much. But yeah, it can get pretty dicey pretty quickly once somebody pulls an unexpected pad or something like that. So
yeah,
but overall, it's not too bad. I mean, as long as people know what they're doing, they know the general concept of tanking and what their responsibilities are, it hasn't been too bad. And it's kind of fun to have those moments of, oh shit, I gotta, be Superman right now. I gotta pull my ass out and let's get this done. And those are always fun. It's way more enticing to play on the edge than it is to just go through the motions for the 50th time.
Yeah, and it's really obvious in this on this server so far when the group is playing up to their potential, because like I don't know if Yubi, in classic ubiquitous fashion, because he's a fucking sweatlord, like self-admittedly, he's rushed ahead of the pack. He's level 31. We're all 25, 24, 25, 26. Yubi hasn't been able to group with us very much, so he's been going off doing his own thing, and just I'll get you to tell the story in a second, Yubi, but having a little bit of bad luck on the old group front and is wiping, a fair bit. Whereas he then watches our runs on Discord smooth as butter, and he's like, "You cunts! Like that was really cruisy."
Yeah. No, I've had a streak of seems like people with more time than ability to play, because they're up my level, but God, keyboard turners, and I don't think some of them know all their abilities, but it's still been, I don't know, if anything, I'm kind of appreciating it. Like, it's just added more fun to it. It's made it feel much more, I mean, wiping is new. Like, you're not used to wiping on anything in Classic the whole time, so
No.
dying to stuff's fun, and
We
it's
wiped.
just,
We wiped the one wipe I've had in 3 dungeons and the Durnhold Keep experience was, and I was warned about it in terms of the difficulty, was against Aragorn, who is fucking like a. It doesn't ask a lot of you, but it's still a tough fight, and I don't want to say more than that. But just when we finished it on the second attempt was infinitely better than the first attempt once we realized what was happening, and we killed it on the second attempt quite handily and didn't lose anyone. And we all sort of sat there and went, oh, and I just go, boys, I don't mean to sound like a prick, and I'm hardly a god of gaming by any means, but I reckon 90% of groups are wiping to that, like repeatedly, and they were all like, yeah.
yeah, I saw some Reddit comments saying that Aragorn was fucking kicking some people's teeth in, so
It was easily the most fun fight in the game. We all fucking loved it.
Yeah, it's just amazing that, like, I mean, all right, we'll give a spoiler of a minor boss. I don't know why, but Kresh now spinning around like a fucking shell from Mario Kart is just like,
Yes.
he's no harder. It's still just Kresh in the river, but fuck, I don't know, it just made killing him like
Yeah,
so much
Dan,
more
do you remember
enjoyable.
if only I had recorded the noise that we all made when we first saw it?
Yeah, yeah, it was fucking pandemonium in the Discord.
Yeah. It was so
Yeah.
funny. But yeah, Mike is right. God, the Curse of Recklessness was the real MVP at Durnhold Keep, with all those humans wanting to run away all the time, and they're standing quite close to each other. If you want to make your life easier, hint, hint, take a Warlock. But yeah, back to WC and DM again, without giving anything away. But we talk about what happened with SOD with their redesigned dungeons that were kind of like, the end game raids at the end of the level bracket, your Black Fathom Deeps and whatnot. And much of it was the dungeon hadn't changed, but just they'd given some new abilities to the bosses, and everyone, had a good time with that. I mean, when you see what you can do with a completely redesigned dungeon, it was crazy. And I said straight away, like, that new Wailing Caverns is 1,000 1,000-fold better than anything we got with SOD outside of the final raid, the Scarlet Crusade raid. It was, and I'm not saying this to be hyperbolic. It was an 11 out of 10 classic dungeon experience. I loved it. It looked beautiful. Dead Mines I really liked too. Dead Mines I liked more for the encounters than the redesign. It is completely redesigned, but it's still a mine, and it's kind of a drab feeling that you're still kind of going through the same thing, even though you're going in different directions and everything does, have the walls are placed in different spots, and it unfurls a bit more when you get to, the Juggernaut or whatever, the Dreadnought, whatever it's called. But the encounters in Dead Mines were fantastic. But yet, Wailing Caverns, again, that sound that I said we made when we saw Crash, we made that sound several times through Wailing Caverns. Just the ecstasy and the excitement of, oh, what the fuck is happening? And I won't tell anyone, but there's new stuff in there. You should see it, and it's all perfectly. Is the word handleable a word? But either way, it's cruisy. It's like, just pay attention. It's not that difficult, and you're good.
Yeah, I can't understate the actual just aesthetic of the dungeon thematically. Like, it's the Wailing Caverns, it's the fucking Sooking Cave, and there's little twisty rivers spewing out of walls across the pathway, and it's just it's absolutely incredible from just the physical space of it.
Yeah, I hope they don't change Aragul. That's a fair comp to Kelrus. We'll see what happens. Sorry, someone was jumping in there. Go for it.
I was just saying, chef's kiss to their art team. They just do. I don't know who's handling that part of the project, but just amazing job, especially on Wailing Caverns. I mean, it's just so pretty.
It's stunning. Stunning doesn't even do it justice. Yeah. It's fucking unbelievable.
And it feels like classic still. It still feels like that same
Yeah.
art style and that same design. It's not like they said, let's go make a new version of this and let's do retail or mop or whatever colors and effects you want to go to. I was like, no, it feels like I just stepped into what could have just been a second wing of Wailing Caverns.
But now here's the thing, Vestige. You tell me that those guys that built that now have the time up their sleeves to, now they're not in at launch. I get, like I said, DM and Wailing Caverns are the only dungeons that have been redesigned. But if you tell me that team are the guys designing the new raids and dungeons at Endgame or what have you, I'm like, fucking sign me up, because that was amazing.
Yeah, it does give me a lot of hope for what's to come, and like what we got 3 new dungeons. They said that they're doing. Yeah. So I get a lot of hope for the real custom stuff where it's kind of they can do whatever they want. So that could go really wild if they want to, but hopefully they're staying in that aesthetic. And they've said it before that everything they do is in that lens and through that prism.
Yeah.
So I'm very hyped for what could be the future and what we could be seeing here.
They fucked up in that they set the bar too high early on. Like, their expectations are wild now. But yeah, if you guys are playing on this server, under no circumstances are you to skip a Dead Mines or a Wailing Caverns run, and you must go and see Durnhold Keep. So make sure you don't over-level them. Go to Dead Mines at 20. Go to Wailing Caverns at 20. Maybe and go to SFK at 24. Go to Durnhold Keep at fucking, what were we? 24. You will have the best time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all worked up, Yubi. I don't even know where to go from here. I'm all fucking hot and bothered.
We haven't even tickled professions yet.
Yeah, let's do it. No time like the present, mate. They're amazing. Kick us off.
Yeah, they've stayed again. It's what it was, but they've just pushed it up a bit to the point where I think at some point my mage was wearing 4 crafted items that were relatively good for me, but like, they're not the best shit in the world. Like, I replaced them with a quest reward within a couple of levels, but you go to your trainer and there's just, I would say for things that people would know, like as a tailor, you always had the spider silk boots. From level 1 to 30, there's like 6 spider silk tier things that you're like, fuck, I want to get that. So you go out of your way to make sure that you go get like some spider silk or a pearl or whatever you need to go and get that item. And so you just get a bit more of that that crafting dopamine, and it's so much more rewarding. They've got and there's also a bit like SOD with the waylaid supplies, there's crafting quests, but they're much more simple. Like you can, once
just
you've
bring me
reached a
20
particular
bruiseweed.
skill, yeah, it was a nice, it was like an accidental find in that the quests only appear for you after you've gotten the skills. So like I was just busy leveling away and I was like level 15 and I'm like, all right, I better start tailoring. And then I cranked it up and I went back to Silverpine and there was like 3 quests in town for like, yo, I need some boots. Can you go make me some boots? And then this other NPC wants a couple of bags. And you hand him in and it's just for like it's a decent amount of quest XP, but nothing out of the ordinary. But just that little interaction was pretty fun too, and to stumble upon it.
Mike just wants to add, I'll read this one out. He goes, Gigantor and I wanted to mention that Mike did a second Dead Mines outside of the first one that he did with us in the guild. And he goes, we had 2 randoms in the group that were acting like clueless players, where every time they encountered something new in Dead Mines, their mind was completely blown, but more like they were expecting that nothing was going to be different in Dead Mines. They had to be the kind of people that were thinking they were somehow just rolling on a normal classic server and somehow wound up on Epoch. So there you go. It's, if you're not expecting these changes, it's fucking blowing people's minds, but that's a bit of a funny one. But yeah, back to the professions. Yubi, I've loved it. Like I said, Stan, let me double check with you if that's okay, mate. The warrior that we had, expired tuner, did he say the sword he had was crafted?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was fucking unbelievable. Like he was destroying mobs with a blue crafted weapon at level, 26 at SFK. It was just like the time being rewarded to sit there and do your professions as you level. Like, don't just race to 60 and then come back and do your professions, because you were in a rush to get to max level. Being rewarded so, like, not necessarily in an overpowered fashion, but so healthily as you go. Like, low level professions feel amazing. Like, just little things like getting my, tailoring enchant at level 15 or whatever. My +3 spell power on my cloak very early on was great. Being able to, like Yubi's already said, crafting braces and boots and stuff that I really needed because I was up shit creek in terms of still wearing white stuff. And look, that's always been part, don't get me wrong, crafting's always been a part of the game. Some of you might be like, Josh, did you just discover professions? Like, that's always been a thing. There's new stuff, guys, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's not
I have a
crack.
good example.
Yeah, go for
It's
For
sorry, you go.
for leatherworking, there's a hat, which is like one of the first headpieces you can get. And a headpiece is always such a big deal, but it's BOP.
Yep. And it's
Right?
like you
It's
can
a
get it at
level
like level
21
20 or something,
equipable.
can't you?
Yeah, 21 you can equip it, and you need like 130 leatherworking, and it's plus 16 stats total across
Huge.
strength, int,
Huge.
and stam. Yeah, and normally, you're just kind of going headless for a while. And there was also like a crafted white shoulders that you could get just a little bit earlier than you normally would.
Also, the engineering goggles, there's one of each armor type.
Jewel crafting has been folded into blacksmithing.
Oh, what have they done with the buckles?
You just make rings and stuff like that. I've already got a couple of rings on.
Oh,
that's cool. I had no idea.
Are you fucking level 60 already, Auntie?
No, I'm level 16. I got my first ring at level 13.
You rolled last night. You rolled last night, you creep.
Oh, no, I've got 2. I've got multiple characters.
Oh, you're talking about your Kazan tune. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I've got to say one thing that I was going to say way earlier on, but I got lost in track. Stability of the servers. Kazan has gone down quite a lot of times, even in non-prime time. So I'll premise that.
Yeah. Well, they're wrestling with a higher population as well. So you got 2 choices if you're going PvE. Sorry. You got 2 choices if you're going PvE. You got Kazan, the quote-unquote main server, and the alternative server of Menethil. That we're all on Menethil, by the way. I probably buried the lead there. If you do want to come play with the Countdown crew, go on Menethil, the PvE server. It's got about, I've been telling people, it seems to have about, I don't know, a third of the population of Kazan. And I know the vast majority of people want to go as if you wouldn't go on the fucking big server. And that's fair play if you want to do that. We've just found Menethil to be very cozy. And we only did it knowing that the guys who now I think are earning a bit of trust, who run it, say, guys, we will merge these servers as soon as it's blatantly obvious that we need to do so. So I'm happily sitting around being cruisy on the smaller server. It doesn't bother me at all.
We're not operating on Blizzard layers, so apparently Kazan's been quite hectic for named mobs and stuff because you're not on Baron's 17 fucking shard or layer.
And that's why I wanted to
Hours
stay
of you
away.
fucking trying to kill the same. It's like it's been rough on this server for some spawns.
Yeah.
And we're 1/3 the size because everyone's packed in everywhere.
Yep. Every time I encounter a mild amount of friction around, oh fuck, this mob doesn't spawn for the next 5 or so minutes, and there's 1 or 2 parties here waiting for it. I think, imagine if I was on Kazan with 2.5 times the population.
It goes into hyper spawn mode.
Oh, does
like
it?
sometimes going to like outside of what's the village that's outside Dead Mines? Moonbrook?
Yeah.
That is deadly. Because the hyper spawns get going and they literally, you kill a mob, it spawns back immediately.
Yeah.
The only singular pain I felt is the Defier's escort quest.
Yeah.
Basically, it spawns once every 10 minutes and there is a group around it of like 30 players constantly waiting for it.
Yeah.
It is insane.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
So the
But other than
mine
that,
and,
you just get in groups just instantly. Everyone's just grouping up and the hyper spawns don't really.
Yeah. Go for it, Templar.
Fargo Deep Mine, it was crazy. The hyper spawning kobolds on Kazan. Lord of the Rings, that quote whenever they enter the mines of Moria. It's like, this is no mine, it's a tomb. It literally was that because everybody kept dying because there are so many hyper spawns that nobody could kill them all. And there are skeletons the entire way through the mine.
Did you roll on Kazan, you fucking tool?
I did, yeah.
Oh, you blood trader. How could you? How could you do this to us?
Well, I was already on Kazan.
No, I mean, but on day one, we all said everyone go Menethil, but you don't love us anymore, Templar. I get it. That's okay. Look, again, I'll plug the guild. Everyone, Countdown is the guild. If you spot us on Menethil, say g'day. If you want to join us, come one, come all. Again, the not only the 24/7 nature of the server this server is something special because the great population with a private server blowing up like this. It's people from all across the world gathering to it, which means the server never sleeps. And you all knew this with Nostalrius. It is, doubly more so with this one. And so you log on at any given time of day. Stuff is happening. You want to do a dungeon? No worries. Europe's awake or Australia's awake or something. And, even more so with the Countdown Guild, where we're not like an American guild on the world server where we all still, doesn't really matter because all the guildies go to sleep at the same time regardless of what the server is doing. The Countdown Guild is a global guild as well. So you log online and granted, you might not get a shitload of people, but there might be 10 people online and it's, hey guys, want to do a dungeon run while everyone else is asleep? Fuck yeah. I did it this morning. It was great. When we did our SFK, there was only half a dozen people online or something, and we just grabbed 3 or 4 of them, and we had a great run. So, yeah, get amongst it, everyone. But back to what we were talking about, the professions. Has anyone else had any revelations with professions that we haven't mentioned yet, or enjoying or not enjoying certain aspects?
Little details like, for me, clothies love going enchanting and tailoring, and lots of the caster cloth gear in having a mental blank, an ingredient, a part or a component of it would be a lesser astral essence. And I mean, it sounds like nothing, but I feel like that's just immersive, or it just feels proper that you're creating fucking magic items that might have 2 spell power on them or something, and it's well, no shit, might need a bit of magic dust in it.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's just a bit of flavor, nice simple flavor.
I've already changed to enchanting.
We talked about the.
Go for it, mate.
Have we talked about the passives?
I was literally just about to bring it up. I was going to say I changed. Let's go nuts. I changed to enchanting from herbalism. Just a couple of days ago, I was herbalism tailoring because you guys know I love to gather. But actually, half the reason I went herbalism this time is one of the passive bonuses that's new to this server. So if you check out their website, they tell you what passives you get. And I was like, bit of, old Josh is going to do some BGs at level 60. That's probably what I'll, spend half my time doing. Bit of spell resistance with herbalism. That's interesting. So I started leveling herbalism, and then I get to 150 herbalism, and I spend half a silver to train the next rank, to go up to like artisan or whatever the fuck it is, expert. And I discovered that at like 150, the spell resistance was all of 6 resistance to every school of magic. And I was like, so this thing's just going to be 10 resistance at cap, isn't it? And I went, that's fucking nothing. I'm out of here. See you later, herbalism. I'm going enchanting. But yeah, the passive bonuses are new, reasonably new. There's stuff you'll remember, like, they gave a plus 5% total health buff to miners and things like that. Vestige, what have you noticed? What do you like?
I'm doing herbalism, alchemy right now. I just literally made my first trinket for alchemy.
Oh, nice.
So I get a little boost on potions. And potions and elixirs and flasks get an extra bonus as your passive. So that's going to be nice too, probably in endgame.
Very cool. Anyone else on their professions, or should we move on?
Yeah, can I add something?
Yeah, no. Go, hang on. Who we got? We got who was first? Laz, go first.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that the professions, they also promote the social aspect of the game, just same way as like shared quest items and stuff. They specifically made some professions rely on others. So while leveling, for example, blacksmiths to make some cool weapons or a shield or whatever. I forget what it is, but they need a potion from an alchemist, the elixir of defense, that no one ever made before, and now everyone's in trade chat asking for them. So it gives people a reason to talk to each other and socialize more.
Very cool. Someone else is going to jump in. Go for it.
I was going to say that sword that you were talking about, I can confirm it is busted.
It is fucking broken.
Paladin.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What's it called again?
Command. It's something like the silvered two-hand. I can't remember. I have it.
The silver
I
fucking sword of 1,000 truths. Yeah.
It hits like a freight train. It has a crap ton of strength on it. When it procs on command, I one-shot mobs. It's just, it absolutely eradicates stuff.
Yeah. It wasn't like, look, it wasn't sending our warrior like to the moon on the charts to the point that like it was, he's doing 80% more damage than everyone else. No, it was nothing like that. But like he was doing 20% more, 15, 20% more damage than us. And it was very like you couldn't catch him. It was like, fuck me, you're slapping.
Yeah, I find they've really put a lot of thought into how everything's weaving into each other. Like there's a fuckload more chests in dungeons, and I've only done the Wailing Caverns. Like I've done one of everything, and then I watched your run, and there were chests in the same spot. So it could be that they're like a static feature, and then obviously in chests, like the pearls, similar to Sod, pearls are important for crafting these big early items, but fuck, they're still rare. Like the pearls were a gold 50 on the auction house the first few days, and that was like all your fucking money. So you really had to want that item to go and get it. But it's just a well thought out system at the moment with the professions and how they're all leaning on each other, and that like, yeah, we're saying that there's this hectic sword, but fuck, it's not the easiest thing in the world to craft if you don't have any money and stuff. Like it's well balanced.
I'll just say this one thing just before I forget, slightly off topic, but not really. Auntie, I was laughing and joking with you before we started recording, saying, you DM'd me about this server because you saw me playing it, and you're like, oh my God, are you playing Epoch? And, it had been, I looked at our dates between DMs, and like, mate, you're long-time listeners of the show, which is so many of you, will absolutely remember Auntie from back in the day, the 2018, 2019 days. And I saw that it had been 5 years to the day, almost, since you and I had last DM'd. And I miss you. And Auntie and I have had I've had the pleasure of meeting up with Auntie in real life. And Patricia and I went out and had a lovely dinner with him once. And mate, it's good to have you back in the fold. But I mean, it looks like you were just chasing that classic plus vibe, and that's brought you back to us. And he's been AFK that whole time that I was fucking sucking him off. That's great. Perfect. No notes.
He's gonna feel so good when he listens to this next week. Or he's gonna feel absolutely dreadful.
Yeah. No, all good. Look, what do we go to next, guys? Where's this suckfest going next?
What about what we don't like?
Yeah, you can talk about what you don't like. Go for it.
I'd like to chat shit on it, on a few things.
Be my guest. Kick us off.
Well, whoever suggested let's beat it up can go first, and then I got my point.
All right, Axel, do the honors.
Oh, that wasn't me.
Oh, sorry. Who was it? Jump in.
It was Vestige. It was me.
Go, mate.
Surprise,
Vestige. All right.
What? I can be critical. Constructive feedback. Constructive feedback.
All right.
Yeah, there are still a lot of bugs. I mean, I don't want to say a lot, but I mean, I am noticing some things here or there. Some quests are getting broken, but they're getting fixed. I'm having a few issues with some of my racial spells not working properly. So that is a little bit of a bummer. When we were doing Dead Mines, I think there's a little bit too much trash in there. Probably they could cut the trash by about 20-30%, make it a little bit of a nicer run. I don't want to be stuck in dungeons too long. I enjoy them. It's nice. I don't want dungeons to turn into 2 to 3 hour things. Then maybe just because they're new and they'll go faster once we learn them and stuff like that. But I just don't want them to be an insane amount of time. I really like them to be a place I can dip in and dip out pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am not a believer. Some people absolutely romanticize the 2-hour dungeon run of vanilla. I think that in this day and age, that is horrible game design. I don't think that these dungeons necessarily quite qualify, but again, it really, like Yubi said earlier, depends on what kind of group you're putting together as well. But like you say, if a ragtag group of randoms is going to take 2 hours to get through it, then that's probably fucked, which I agree with. All I can go by is what I've experienced, and Countdown gamers are fucking gamers. We're all pretty savvy people. Every Countdown group I've run a dungeon with, it's taken us an hour. In and out, done, loved it.
You've refreshed my memory. I'll put a asterisk on my Wailing Caverns run. Minor spoiler, a little change. The mobs are like, one particular mob is 80% resistant to every school of magic, and we had 3 casters and a rubbish warrior. So
Yeah.
that's why my run took fucking forever.
Yeah.
There was trash packs taking us 4 minutes to kill.
And wasn't it something like this warrior who you said was far from the greatest player in the world was also the lippiest?
Yeah, he blasted us on the first trash pack because I said you might need a shield because the Raptors were absolutely munching his ass out, and he said, "Doesn't matter what I wear when all of you pull aggro anyway." And I was like, "But you're still dying. If I have aggro and you're almost dying, what's that say?" So yeah, it was a shambles. Anyway, sorry, just to add that in. I don't want everyone to doom and think that Wailing Caverns takes everybody 2.5 hours.
No, but they do lean into the whole resistance things. There's a lot of bosses and mobs that can be straight up immune to stuff.
Yeah, I've found some as a Shadowcaster, yeah.
That was an example we talked with earlier, Ubi, where it was like, didn't you have a shaman in your group who wasn't purging? Because when I did WC, I found out you could just purge that, and
He told me he couldn't, and I was just
like... Oh, is that purgeable? I didn't know.
Yeah, I was purging it during our run, yeah.
Oh, who was our shaman? All right, I didn't know that. Very good. Stan, was that you? I can't remember.
No, it was me.
Who was it? Was that you, Axel?
Axel, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So you were purging for us?
Yes, I was purging the whole time.
I still remember seeing the resistances. Anyway.
No, the rejuve.
Oh, the rejuve. Yeah. No, I'm talking about the
you can purge them both.
Yeah, they're 80% resistant to shit, and they're rejuving themselves, and my party's not dispelling that. And
but I don't think you can purge the resistance, can you?
No, that's just nature to the boss.
Right.
Unless, if somebody had, innate resistance, but I thought you were talking about the caster mobs would put up,
No. These are the deviant shamblers. They look like the big green boss at the end.
Yeah.
Like those
okay.
mobs.
And all magic damage is 80% off.
Those fuckers just have everything just hit for 1/3 of its normal damage.
Yeah. If that. Yeah.
But like I mean, it sounds like a fucking horrible time. I like the charm of it. I'm like, resistance is back, baby.
Yeah.
It's not just irrelevant.
Oh, have you can I just say one thing? Oh, I don't know if I should say this or not. It's like spoilery, but not like anything substantial. Fuck, should I say it or not, Yubi?
What is it about?
In SFK, did you try and
I didn't get to do it.
Oh, who's done SFK here that wasn't with me? Nobody? I'm not going to say anything. Fuck it. Let people discover it on their own. It was funny.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I know what you.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to say. Do you reckon we hold on to that one?
I say you make it a challenge. You put it
Yeah,
out
all right. Yeah,
first
fuck it. All right. Yeah, you
person,
will say
tell
and
me
make it a
it's wrong.
challenge. Any group that can kill the horses in SFK, send through the footage. Take them on, and I want everyone to be like, "Oh, let's go for the bags, boys. Take on the horses and see what happens."
Okay, that's interesting.
I'm assuming they're fucking everybody up.
Oh, it's out of control.
We're now we're just spinning up in our little hype chamber, but like hearing all this is what I was talking about earlier. Like I am so keen to already play my next character because of things that I didn't get to do. Like I didn't get to do DM or SFK by leveling past them just from like I wanted to see the zones, and then now there's no point doing it.
Oh, you've got to you've got to do Aragorn.
yeah.
If Aragorn's a raid boss, you've got to do Aragorn.
So it's nice to have this feeling. I've never wanted to ever level another character this whole time, and now I just can't fucking wait.
Yeah, I'm not going to have like it because it is still, even though we say it's like 1.2x, it's still a bit of a slog. I'm not going to have time to fucking level. You know, I think 1 will be pushing it, but like I'll go for 2. But yeah, I'd love to sort of see this through a tank size as well on my undead paladin or heal. We'll see what happens. Guys, we were talking about things we didn't like. Sorry, I got in the way there. What else? Now, look, I'll just add, just while you guys are listing off bugs or things that are fucked up that you don't like with the server, just for all you people listening, like, I know we've glazed this server a little bit, and we're obviously sitting here trying to convince you to give it a go. But, like, it's still a private server, and the people who have anti-private server stances, they are correct in that you are still going to find some of that private server jank here. Now, some of the complaints that real hardcore private server naysayers have are that like, oh, the server could be deleted tomorrow and then there's all my characters gone. I have like a fair bit of faith that hasn't happened for a long time with private servers, and I have a fair bit of faith that that's not going to happen with this server where monetization is a thing. But also like the other part of private server complaints are generally like some of the you know, they don't get the scripting right or the coding of certain abilities, or there's just a bug or a jank that never gets fixed. Like Yubi said, they are actively fixing things, but those things do exist. So like if that bothers you, yeah, okay, maybe you're not going to get the slickest experience. You know, you're not going to get a 100% clean, there's no issues with the server experience on this private server. But in saying that, look, I mean, fuck, it's not like Blizzard servers are fucking super clean either as well, right? I don't know. But
I'm
keep
going
guys.
with the ignorance is bliss strategy where like I'm just going, I can't tell if that's bugged or what they intended because they've, you know, things are different.
Yeah.
Like, and then also just you're always battling your memory. Like fuck, the old boomer brain starting to kick in. Can't fucking actually. I've said 50 times. Was this how it was in Classic? And it's like I'm not even doing a new quest.
Yeah,
it wasn't Classic, but you're just so caught up in everything being different.
I'll ping them again just for like I said earlier, their mob placement. Like, you know, it's weird to me, even though like socialization is part of the game and grouping up is part of the game. When you go and do what seems like a pretty innocuous quest, and like you do just like fuck, maybe all your boys are offline or whatever, or you're just in the mood to solo something. You know, the mob density is jacked up a little bit much, just in, not all the time, just in pockets. And I just think that wasn't very well thought through. So I really would ping them massively for that one, for not only ramping up the difficulty and how hard these mobs hit, but also just putting 4 or 5 of them on you when you're like, mate, now I literally have to group up to do this stupid little green quest that's not even an elite quest.
Yeah, and it's something
especially
like
the caster mobs.
Yeah, you got to get into this inn, and for some reason at the front door there's 4 wizards in a pack that you can't pull separately, and you're like, well, fuck, that's like 2 of these wizards
kick my teeth in, let alone 4. Like there's just, but I mean, I'd say there's been less than a handful of times where I'm like, this should practically be an elite quest. I can't solo it. Leading into, that's by far my biggest gripe with the server is the crappy quest UI and how unhelpful it is in every fucking capacity. And I'm talking like, I'm completely okay with don't show me on the map where to go, or like, don't give me questy by default essentially. But it pisses me off that I'm in town, there's a quest in the inn at an NPC hidden behind a drum, and there's nothing in the game that tells me on the map that that's available for me to do or collect. I have to just see the little fucking mark above his head in game and go, oh fuck, that guy's got something for me. And then obviously after that, it doesn't tell you where to go. You got to read the quest. And then we've downloaded a questy like add-on. It has most of the new shit missing anyway. I don't know if it's maybe other people like it this way, where you have to find quests by accident, but like at least let me know what I can go and do, in my opinion. And also, when you've completed it, show me where on the fucking map it gets handed in, because you get a quest from some random dude caravan along a road. It doesn't tell you in the quest where he is.
Yeah, that
and
has
you've got
been
it
very
completed, and you're
frustrating.
like, where do I take this fucking box?
Yeah,
like
I've
spent an hour getting this box.
Yeah, I've spent time going like literally like there's nothing in the quest text that reminds me of where I picked this quest up, or if it's a different NPC to hand it into, where the fuck they might be. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, but that'll be a bit jarring. But then again, I think it might have been like convenience withdrawal symptoms, or because now I'm used to it and I'm just I'm reading a lot more quest text and stuff and going the old school route. But I think in this day and age, at least, you've got quests in this town that you can get, and also, hey, this is where you hand this in, is all I need. I don't even need to be shown where it is.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't complain if it was like what you get in Wrath, where it just makes that blue cloud on your map of like, you'll find what you need in here.
Yeah.
Go to this part of the world. I'd be cool with that.
In terms of the new quests, though, like I think they've smartly not asked much of the players in terms of like pushing you to run all over the map, wondering where to find the quest objective. Like, generally speaking, the quest objective is probably reasonably close to where you picked up the quest. And like, you'll find they've not been complete smartasses and gone like, for example, like, go and find this thing in a lake. It's not comb the whole lake for fucking the item. It's probably reasonably near the dock where you picked up the quest. You know what I mean? They've not been fuckwits about it, but I've really enjoyed that. Like I don't have I've got questy, but not like for the new quests. I've got that portion of it turned off, and I've enjoyed just digging around and finding out where to get the new quest stuff. Like for example, in the lake, like I had to sniff around the lake a little bit for a couple of things, and when I found them, I was like, oh, that wasn't like necessarily spoon-fed to me, but it also wasn't like that difficult. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'm being pretty mindful of sometimes you're there going, ugh, yuck, yeah, and then you get it done, you're like, fuck, I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
I like the struggle.
As Yak is saying, like, in all honesty, guys, outside of where you turn the quest back in, reading the quest text, these guys aren't fucking idiots. Read the quest text, and they've absolutely told you where to go, like in no uncertain terms.
Yeah,
it's not like your old Blizzard quest where they don't tell you shit sometimes, and you're like, where the fuck am I gonna have to go with this? And you're not even in the right zone.
Yeah, just read the quest.
And the quest text it's thorough. I've only had a single quest so far where I don't know if the guy was hungover that day or some shit, but it was like the most vague, hey, I'm me, go talk to this, and you've never interacted with that NPC before. It didn't say where this guy was or where he came from or what you were trying to do at all. It was just a hello, go to here, no instruction at all, and that was some quest in fucking Silverpine somewhere, but other than that, yeah, it's been fucking solid.
Like Yak going, imagine being me and not realizing that the North Shore mine could possibly have been on the North Shore. Sorry, keep going.
The quests were pretty naturally folded in.
Yeah, I've found it's not full spoilery, but like the Amber Mill section of Silverpine, where I think there was like maybe 2 quests that you did there in Classic, and then getting like Dalaran pendants or
And now
whatever.
there's like half a
They've
dozen.
Yeah, now they've chucked in four or five more, and you got to do 2 trips there.
Yeah.
And like
Filled it
there's
out
just
really
like there's
nicely.
a whole farm that was literally useless to the Horde forever that they didn't have to change. They just made a quest to go get some fucking tomes there. Like, and it's just it's tied in. It's already a natural route.
Filled it out really
I have
nicely.
another example in Aberdeen where they really showed a lot of love, which is funny because Aberdeen was already like the most efficient alliance leveling zone. But like for example, there's like this red crystal you have to go back to a couple times where there are these moonkin along the way, and there's fuck all to do with those moonkin otherwise. So they put in 2 series of kill quests, right? Because you go there twice on your other quests already anyway. So it's like, hey, 1 series of kill the lower level moonkins along the way quest, and then 1 kill the higher level ones along the way. And it's like those simple little things. What I was saying to Josh, it's so refreshing to have an abundance of quests, to have more quests than I need, to be able to say, you know what, there's too many people trying to do this thing. I'm going to abandon it, and I'm not going to worry about like getting every little bit that I'm going to have to grind later to compensate for.
Some of the quests feed in so well. I actually thought one of them was wrong, like they screwed up an old quest, and then I had to go look it up, and then I realized it was a new quest, and I was like misremembering shit.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking like, oh, because it just fed in so well. I was like, I swore I've done this quest before, but it should be over here. And I was like, no, it's a whole new fucking quest.
So what else have we missed in terms of the jank? Anything else on the list, Vestige?
No, that's pretty much my list so far.
Okay, well,
my
that's a
big
pretty short
complaint
list.
is leashing. They don't
Oh,
have the
leashing,
leashing
yeah.
implemented correctly, and it's a big pain.
They'd mobs chase you for, and now look, I know everyone's going to say, Josh, mobs have always chased you forever, mate. I've played hardcore.
No,
I've
they've chased for 30 seconds.
I've played WoW. I've played a lot of WoW, guys. I fucking know how long mobs chase you for. They chase you longer in this one.
Yeah.
They are
Would that be on
relentless.
purpose?
I don't know. Maybe they're relentless.
Yeah, the leash length is really high.
But in saying that, also, like, you guys might have heard me talking about me fearing mobs left, right, and center. It also, in turn, seems like they've changed the fear range where, like, you know, whereas you'd never fear in a dungeon because obviously you just pull fucking everything around you, they seem to cover a shorter distance now while feared. So you you really can, with like 95% comfort, just fear mobs in a dungeon and have it be not a big deal.
Yeah, I noticed that in my DM run, we had a warlock who was every now and then fearing somebody. The guy would like walk off a few steps and then kind of just stand there a bit and walk a few more steps.
He
wasn't like darting halfway across the map. And we were going, oh shit,
they
please
seem
don't like pull something.
They seem to cap out at about 15 odd yards away from you.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this might. I didn't realize at the time, but I was like thinking maybe this could be a viable CC, but I didn't know if that was like intended or not intended, or what's going on with it, or if I just didn't know. But I did notice it in the DM run that it wasn't as scary as I used to remember fearing it in instances used to be.
Yeah, Gigantor was mentioning the aggro range. I've gotten conflicting reports on this, but the majority of people seem to think it has been reduced. But the one thing I'll say about the aggro is like, this might again be a little bit of jank. I am finding that social aggro is a bit off in terms of like, you'll pull one and he pulled the one next to him. But then you'll get like the 2 mobs from upstairs coming for the ride as well. Like, I've just had some weird shit happen.
I've had the opposite where like I've attacked 1 in a group of 3 and 2 of them ran at me and the third just was like, nah, I didn't like him anyway.
I've definitely had pulls where, like, again, guys, I've played a lot of WoW. I kind of know how this shit works. I've had a lot of pulls where I'm like, all right, I'll pull that 1 and 2 will 100% come, and you get 5, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
There's certainly some rough edges. I found the leashing is definitely interesting, but then like again, I don't know if it's intended because as I've gotten to a higher level, I feel as if I'm starting to aggro things from further that are my equal. Whereas like when I was level 10, fuck, you could almost like split a gap of 8 yards and not aggro either. So I'm not sure if maybe they just maybe there's a curve to it. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Or it's just wonky.
So what are we forgetting? What's the one thing we're going to end this podcast and be like, I can't fucking believe we didn't talk about X, Y, Z?
Well, I don't know. Like we've talked about what we've done, but I don't really want to talk about the rest of the sales pitch. Like if you're interested, go on the website if you want to have a look. Like there'll be new raids and all that kind of crap. But like, I mean, we could. Yeah,
Stan
we could do the
raises a
sales
very
pitch.
important one. You can do BGs while leveling and get experience from them, and people do somewhat seem to be doing them. Voodoo on like day 3 dived into a Warsong Gulch that was a 3v3, and I think he got some experience out of it.
Oh, you get experience for each kill in there as well.
Oh,
As the
really?
win. Yes, and then they patched it just yesterday because apparently healers weren't getting XP, and it was also only killing blows, but they've fixed it up. So now healers get XP for assisting in a kill, and it gets split between everyone that was farming them. It's like I don't know. I kind of
Oh, I could do some
surely Blizzard.
PvP healing to level. That fucking tickles my pickle.
Yeah, I would
They,
love
they
to
have
imagine.
added those.
Sorry, you go.
They've added those PvP tokens, those bloody tokens for killing people
Yeah.
with war mode on,
Yeah.
and those quests in all the neutral zones to actively incentivize getting kills.
There's PvP items for 15, 25, 35. Wow.
Yeah, we guess we didn't really cover war mode properly. Like you can only toggle it on once you're level 15. You have to go to a city to do it, and to toggle it back off costs respec gold.
Yeah,
So the
it's
first
very
time you toggle it off,
expensive.
it costs a gold. The next time it costs 5. So it's a big commitment to like, you're turning it on, and you are essentially not permanently, but fuck, I mean, I can't afford to untoggle it, so
Yeah.
I have permanently turned it
Yeah,
on.
people won't be
And you get
chopping and changing willy-nilly.
Yeah, and you got 5% extra XP and 5% extra rep for it. And then if you kill people that also have it toggled on, that's where you get the bloody token or a chance of getting one. And you can hand them in for like, if you hand in 1,000 bloody tokens, which would mean on average 4,000 honorable kills out in the world only, doesn't work in battlegrounds. You can hand it in and you get like the bloodthirsty title. And then there's also just a bunch of like your little cosmetic shit that you can buy with the tokens. And I mean, fuck, the PvP system overhauled. It's arena seasons and conquest points and honor points, and you purchase gear. And each season there will be better gear to buy with honor points. So you go back and play more battlegrounds, and there'll be new battlegrounds. I guess we should do the whole PvP marketing for everyone. What else am I missing? There's separate gear just for marks that's useful while you level up. So there's more incentive to actually go, hit some BGs when you're level 29, 39, whatever, and you can go actual buy gear that will be strong for you, like doing a dungeon. That's everything I know off the top of my head for PvP. But yeah.
So in theory, you can level through PvP completely.
Yeah, that's it. You could.
Yeah.
You could be the most degenerate human being ever, and like, I mean, fuck, battlegrounds are rough. There was like level 11s in Warsong Gulch just getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's just interesting. I was gonna say, with this, like with these tweaks, surely Blizzard this is like a layup for them as observing this for their inevitable Classic Plus cope.
Yeah.
Because like, we mentioned this and you go, oh, you get XP for kills. If this was a Blizzard official server, we would have a spreadsheet on Reddit saying, all right, if Alliance get to farm Horde every battleground for 7 minutes, this is how XP per hour. So we'll form pre-mades and farm each other, and we'll level to 60 in 4.5 hours abusing this system. Whereas like on the private server, because it's a smaller community, you just don't get that level of degeneracy going on. But still, we'll get to see the negative effects of such an overhaul to the PvP system.
Vestige, I didn't know the answer to the question then, and you've answered it there. Stan says, are the servers connected for PvP BG-wise? And you said no. Is that the case?
Yeah, they said there's no cross-realm. So basically, you can't play anybody else on the other servers.
Right.
But they said potentially they'll look into it later, but it's not a priority at all.
It's not going to matter anyway, really. Well, it's not going to be that big of a deal later on when they merge Kazan and Menethil, and basically you just got the two pops there between the PvP server and the PvE server. I don't think it'll be as big of a deal.
Yeah, but for right now, they said that they have no intention of merging them anytime soon. So
No, that's true. But I mean, like, if you want to be a BG spammer at cap, by the eventually, I think they will merge the servers, and I'm sure it won't be that big of a deal in terms of like waiting for queues and whatnot to pop.
yeah, and you can PvP queue anywhere. So
Yeah, Mike raises a good question, and we should talk about it. We've invoked the name Blizzard just then, and Blizzard taking notes, and people have joked about whether or not the classic team is having a bit of a play on Epoch and all that stuff, and taking it all in and seeing what could influence the next classic thing. And there's no doubt in my mind that the successes of Epoch will be a huge influence, quote unquote, to the classic team, but. Mike just says, Josh, can you guys talk about the pressure on Blizzard now to do better than this and the higher expectations we may have now for their version of Classic Plus in a post-Epoch world? Yubi, do you want to fucking dare tackle that one first?
Oh, fuck, I've been rambling the last few days, haven't I? Yeah, I've had a growing kind of pissed off feeling that, it's the old Iron Man made this in a fucking basement with scraps or whatever.
Yeah.
Four hobbyist devs have made a better classic than I've played this entire time. Like, this is, for me, this is as fun as the first weeks of SOD and as fun as the first weeks of 2019.
Yeah.
And you got to factor in that I'm only playing, like, fuck, this would be wicked if you had more of the boys playing and it was a bit more fine-tuned, but like, that's the pedigree of enjoyment that's happening, is rivaling those two moments. And I mean, 2019 was jacked up on nostalgia, really, like, and just the hype of it all. But yeah, the expectation going forward is like, if Blizzard came out with here's Classic Plus and it's just we made Arcanet Reaper relevant in blacksmithing at level 60 and there's 2 new quests in Silverpine, like, I'm just gonna unsub. Like, I just won't play it. I'd play this. I'd stay here and keep playing this. They have to go above and beyond this.
I just wanted to echo this, and everyone please do chime in on this, but let me just say something for a minute or two here. Just not to reiterate too much what Yubi just said, but the word anger is really echoing in my mind because it resonates with me and it applies to me as well, where I'll just say that, guys, look, on this podcast, I have been very, very fair to Blizzard. I think that's a fair word to use, fair. I've always said, have a go at them where they deserve it, where they fucked up, absolutely tear them apart. But where they earn the credit, give the credit where the credit is due. Look, I loved SOD. I really did. You guys know I love SOD. I'm not taking anything away from SOD. It was a great experience. So many of you adored SOD. But SOD is quite a different experience to this. Now, granted, we're in the early... I don't want to go too nuts because, fuck, guys, this could all fall apart. We could turn... The huge caveat here is we could all get to level 40 on Project Epoch and realize it's all smoke and mirrors. It's actually a terrible server. There's no new content. Oh my God, why didn't we realize this? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just guessing that that's not going to happen given what we've seen in the early run-up. But I just want to say that with the experience that I've had over the last, it's only been 5 days, guys. It's Saturday and this thing launched on Monday for me. I have seen enough and felt enough, like Yubi said, over the last 5-6 days to know that I'm onto a good thing and to know that I can't stop playing because I'm having so much fun. And it's been a really big group experience, and our fun is being amplified by sitting in the group in voice chat and feeding off of everyone else's fun. But the reason we do that is because the game is fun, and it's not nostalgia for vanilla. We've got half the people in the group fucking hate vanilla WoW now. Well, maybe that's a bit harsh, but you know what I mean. Have said, I'll never play vanilla WoW again, including me. But this server has done something different, and it's making me enjoy it and go on. But coming back to this word of anger, I see what I see on Epoch, and I think of what we just went through with SOD. And I have felt mild moments of anger as well. I've been angry because that joy that I felt during that Wailing Caverns run that I'm almost underselling to you guys. I'm trying to sort of keep it in my pants so that you can just see it for yourselves. But that feeling, that's a 10 times better feeling than anything I got in a level up raid, in a BFD or a gnome. Like, don't get me wrong, those were great. We came on the show and reviewed them. 10 out of 10. Gnome Ragon, new bosses, 10 out of 10 experience, loved it. BFD, 10 out of 10, new experience, loved it. Fucking, if they're a 10 out of 10, this Wailing Caverns is a 20 out of 10. And I get mad when I think about what could have been for Blizzard, a redone Season of Discovery, or, maybe this is all coming in the next Classic Plus. They've got more staff. They've had the boot put up their asses. They see what Epoch is doing and they realize, fuck, if we do anything less than this, we are fucking cooked. But I get upset because I'm like, this should be a thing from Blizzard and it's not. And they're going to ask people to wait, again, the missed opportunity. And it's not necessarily the devs' fault. It's a funding thing and everything. But guess what? They're going to be a year and a half behind because Epoch's out now and Blizzard's like, oh, guys, can you just wait 15, 16 more months until we get ours out? Well, fucking, you're slow. You're slow on the draw and someone's grabbed this market opportunity and they've pounced on it and they'll make the cash out of it. Blizzard will make their money too, don't get me wrong. But they've, again, the SOM gap in time and now this SOD gap in time where they're like, can you check back in with us in a year and a half when we've got something outside of era or anniversary to play? It's not on. It's not the dev's fault, but I'm talking purely to the, executive Blizzard Activision level here. It's not on. You fucking idiots. You should have been well ahead of this timetable.
Yeah, because now that we've played it, we've talked a lot, but if you just get on and play, the reason why it's annoying is that it's not actually that much. Like I go Tirisfal and there's a new mine or two and there's 10 new quests in a zone that already had fucking 50, and somehow it is a 12 out of 10. Like that's all you had to do. It turns out that it didn't need that much fucking work. And for some reason, they try to fucking gaslight us into thinking that it's some mountain to fucking make Classic Plus. It's really not.
Yeah.
You add 10 fucking new items between 1 and 120 and fucking professions and everyone's raving and they're hectic. Like, it turns out the bar's pretty fucking low and now that's why I'm annoyed. Like, it was so easy for them to have made this.
Yeah.
And especially, their team's getting bigger. And I say all this with the expectation, I know that they could actually do better than this.
Well,
it's just fucking annoying that it's taken this long.
Well, that's the point I actually want to pick up on, and this is a question we can't answer, Yubi, but to throw the fucking challenge out there to Blizzard, could they do better than this? Could they? Because I did that Wailing Caverns, and a part of me was like, Blizzard could not top this, and that's what made me angry. I'm like, they couldn't top this. And if anyone from Blizzard is hearing this and you're upset by what you think is that being an outrageous comment, please, I'm begging you, fucking prove me wrong. Come out and swing at me with your next Classic Plus iteration and say, oh, you think that's a dungeon? We'll show you a fucking dungeon. Show me. But these guys have done it now. And I tell you what, it's a fucking tough one to beat in that kind of a redesign.
A couple things. So, one, we would not have gotten, or we will not get Classic Plus. That's going to happen eventually if we didn't get SOD. So SOD was, as we talked about, the beta test for the demand of a Classic Plus. That's what I would say to that.
Yeah.
But these guys also had 4 years.
I was just going to say, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so these guys have had 4 years. They're hobbyists, but obviously very good. They spun up 2 starter zones in a couple weeks, apparently, between the failed launch and the relaunch. So even that is kind of incredible. So they obviously have a lot of experience and skills of what they're doing. So these aren't just people who, the cylinder goes in the square hole. It's not kind of that kind of thing going on. They obviously have some skills to what they're doing. Now, we have no idea what Classic Plus will be. They talked about in the survey, new zones, maybe a new class. It seems like they are kind of shooting pretty high with what they've been alluding could come. We don't know what's going to happen. So we may get something like this and more.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. We're all fans of the game. We want that. This isn't, I don't want people to get the impression this is the massive, like, fuck you, private servers for life, Blizzard, you're a fucking joke, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm here to be won over. Take me, I'm yours. But you dumped me with nothing left to do for the next year and a half. You walked off and said, I'm going to go fucking, root other people for the next, let's see other people for the next year and a half. And I'm left standing with my dick in my hands going, oh, okay. That's, as I say, outside of the devs' control, that's a funding issue and a fucking foresight issue. But like right now, I have nothing to do and I'm loving what I've got. And it's absolutely thrown down the glove to Blizzard to say, beat this.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad. I was kicking myself that I forgot to mention earlier, but I was going to say, you're right. Those guys had 4 years to build this, and every dev at Blizz would rightfully be pissed off, going like, "Fucking give us 4 years and see what we can do." That's fair. That's very, very fair.
Yeah, I got the counterpoint of that it's only 4 guys and they're doing it in their off time. Like they're probably, I imagine that if they're this good at making a game, they're not like hobby devs. They're probably like actual. Maybe they work at a different company and they're a developer or whatever. But like I would expect if it took them 4 years to do this, because again, it's not really that drastic of an overhaul. I would think that Blizzard with 30 full-time pricks working 40 hours a week on it should bang this out in 3 months. Like, not that I have any idea on dev time, but like just in ratio to 4 people that do it in their off time after their jobs versus a team of 30, like you're already 8 times larger and you have all the facilities to do it. You have the permissions to do it and you have the access to do it. Like it's their fucking game. They have access to everything easily. So like I really to get classic to what that we're playing, and if you haven't played it, you don't know. To move classic this far is like pushing it 2 yards upfield from the base version of the game, but it's just that much more fun moving it that 10 yards up. So I can't see why it's taken this long for them to do it. But and I said yesterday though, if Blizzard just fucking cold dropped C+ tomorrow, I wouldn't log on to Epoch tomorrow. I'd go try it. What we're saying is, if it's not better than this, then I'm logging back onto Epoch on Monday.
Yeah, and the problem is the bar hasn't just been set, it's been cemented. It's beat this or else.
Yeah, and I would think with a team of 30 people and what Classic Plus is probably not for another year at least. If they do something similar to this with 2,500 new quests, some new stuff here and there, but then they say, okay, there's also 8 new zones, there's a whole new class, there's 10 new dungeons and raids and stuff like that, then you're gonna be like, holy shit, yeah, that's great. We'll just have to wait and see. It's kind of hard to pass judgment on something that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, I want to eat. I want to eat my words back. I want to replay this podcast in December of next year and have a laugh at all of my, taunting of them to fucking one-up this server. And I want all of us here to be there creaming over the new C+ that Blizzard has delivered. Oh my God. Wow, did they fucking take the challenge and surpass it? Oh my God, they did it. Of course I want that. But
yeah, I would love a Blizzard official version of this for sure.
Yeah, but
if not better.
But if they now come out and deliver a weaker version than this, fuck me, I'll be more scathing than I've ever been in my life about them in this game.
Yeah,
I don't think they are. I really don't think they are, because I think they are going to view Classic Plus as the next 5-year game.
Yeah,
they're going to be planning years and years of content for that thing, because they say, "Hey,
it's a smart play.
We kind of milked the anniversary cow as much as we can."
Yep.
And I really don't think there's much more we're going to get out of that. So if we want to keep the classic version, the vanilla version going, we have to hit it out of the park with this new Classic Plus we're going to do.
I wouldn't be shocked at all, because I've said, like, I've actually recently started turning on the whole. I've always said, they'll just keep releasing expansions until the cash dries up. Yes, we'll go to WoD. Yes, we'll go to Legion, all that stuff. I've turned on that in the last few weeks, where I'm like, fuck. with the feedback that Mop is now getting, and guys, yeah, a lot of you might be saying, Josh, you were just hyping up Mop, and now you've literally changed servers to Epoch. You're, classic Josh. You're a fucking fickle piece of shit. What are you doing? Mop didn't. So many of you guys, I feel so justified in my personal feelings, where you're like, Mop didn't grab me. I was there to be grabbed. Mop didn't grab me. The one thing that a lot of people are saying is, yeah, the PvP's great, but everything else is fucking ordinary, and I completely agree. It does not. It's not there for me. The time gating, the PvE, the everything. It's just not hitting the same. I had more fun in Kata, to be honest with you, but look. With that now becoming more of a popular opinion, now there are people playing Mop, and that's great. If you're having fun in Mop, I'm not here to tell you fucking anything wrong with that. You go have fun with what's giving you the fun. But I get the impression that the community has started to take a little bit of a turn where they're like, yeah, Kata was maybe a 50-50 call, but now that we're in Mop, this definitely ain't what the classic people want anymore. Like, we're so far removed in time and in frameworks from 2019 classic that it's look, whether or not you call it retail is another question, but you may be stuck somewhere half between, but it definitely ain't classic. And I felt that, and I've kind of like, I've walked away. I've gone like, all that work I did, I told you guys, I've spent hours and hours crafting in Mop, and I did have fun crafting in Mop. Professions are great fun. But I've just walked away from all that cash I made, all the stuff I've crafted, and said, I don't care anymore. I'll just PvP every now and again, and that's it for Mop for me, which is kind of how I thought it might go. But like, it's sad to have it really confirmed that way. But what I'm getting at is, I'm now backtracking going, I agree, Vestige. I think that there's a chance, really truly think there's a chance now they come out on stage in November of 26 at BlizzCon and say, guys, look, guess what? We're actually going to wind it up here. We've now decided that it doesn't really feel like Classic anymore. So the Classic franchise ends at the end of Mop. We're not doing WoD. We're not doing Legion, because guess what? We've designed the next few years for you here in, Classic Plus. I 100% anticipate that's the way it's going to go. But all we're saying here is that would be amazing. But it goes without saying, and I feel dumb saying it, it's got to be good. It can't be a half-assed, oh, shucks, we're just a team, we're just a small team. We can only go with the funding we've got here. We all know that, and we've given you many opportunity over the last few years to lean on that and say, look, guys, we'll forgive you. You're a small team. It's all good. You're doing the best with what you've got. When you get to Classic Plus, that excuse is out the window, because now a small team has delivered something fucking amazing, albeit in 4 years. Yes, I get it, but you still have to beat it. And if you don't, you're fucking cooked.
Yeah, I agree.
The question is, are they already making it now, and they've just been releasing all these, like, one after another? Oh, we're doing the next version of Classic, or are they looking at this going, oh shit, we're in trouble?
My biggest piece of copium is that they started Classic Plus when they put it on the Dragonflight client. That's where I think that they began to ponder the idea, because we only moved to the Dragonflight client in the middle of 2023. And that's my copium, is that was when the switch was flicked, so to speak, of, well, if we're going to do it, we better start from the right base, which is the right call. Like, we're all gassing up this 3.5 client because 1.12 plays and feels like fucking arse these days. But
this still could have a lot of improvements. I would like to open all of my mail with a click of a button.
Yeah, well, that's what that would be. That would just be in that client version by default, for sure. But
right, exactly.
I just want to say, just one last thing on this, like, just for everyone who, if they hear me do the tirade there, and whether you're agreeing with me or disagreeing with me, like, I go in hard there because I'm like, I've never, whether or not this has been obvious on the show, people have called me a shill, and it's always kind of quietly burnt me a little bit, because I'm like, I've never had a great allegiance to Blizzard. This isn't like, I don't fucking touch myself to the concept of Blizzard in my private time. But I've always defended the right for them to be covered fairly. But my allegiance isn't to Blizzard. My allegiance is to me having a fucking good time. It's my spare time. It's my life. I get one shot at life. And I'm just going to go where I'm having the most fun. And if Blizzard is making that game, fantastic. If they're not, fantastic. It doesn't bother me who's making it. I'm going to go where the fun is. And right now, the fun's somewhere else.
Yeah, and we've spoken with the devs, and we know that they love World of Warcraft. So I'm sure if it was like I don't know, Bobby sold his yacht and gave it back to Blizzard and said, "Here's funding for fucking Classic, and you've got full permission to make whatever the fuck you want." The devs that we've spoken to would probably make something pretty fucking awesome. It's that big corp fucking battle of resources and red tape and all that bullshit to actually get it up and off the ground with free creativity, which is what these guys don't have to work with. They're fans. They can make what they want. They can try what they want. They don't have to fucking send out surveys and probe and have back and forth. So they can just go, fuck you, here's XP and Battlegrounds, don't fuck it up. But Blizzard would have to test it out for a year internally before scrapping it or something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a more of a fucking yell at the fact that the corporation itself hasn't delivered, not necessarily the devs, because they got free reign with SOD and that was good, and they did what they could with what they had. But
None of this is a personal attack on the devs. You guys know I get along with a few of the devs. I think they're fucking a great team. There's venom in my voice, not personally, but professionally. And much of it is more aimed upstairs rather than at the Classic team's office. But it's also a little bit at the Classic team going, like I say, accept the gauntlet that hath been laid down before you. But just to touch on a couple of things, CrewDef, that you're saying, like, yeah, I had to have a laugh. Like, you're right. Hopefully, like, you know, my audience is smart. Surely, by virtue of me dedicating a whole podcast episode to a private server, is the indication that I ain't no, you know, born and bred Blizzard shill. But also, just to touch on what you say, like, I want that second point where he says, I have no doubt Agrend sees Epoch and thinks to himself, we could do so much better with this if we had enough resources. I want them to log on to Epoch and go, we could what we're doing is going to fucking smoke this. We could absolutely do this and more. Good. I want this. The competition is good. Make it push you to deliver something better. All right, Tim's listening. Tim, it's a shame you only just jumped in. I actually wish you'd jumped in 20 minutes earlier. I'm going real heavy, Tim, on spurring the Classic team onto something more. And look, it's by virtue of a controversial avenue that we're going down here. But like, I hope when you hear this back, Tim, you hear that, again, this is not like a venomous personal attack. This is like it literally is the space race. I don't know if is that a fucking bad analogy to draw? Is this not the space race?
Are we playing in the Soviet Union?
Isn't it kind of a plea to get Tim more resources?
Fucking
yeah.
God, please.
Let the man cook.
Send him all.
Well, that's
the
what
money.
I'm hoping they're taking this to the higher ups, the C-suite, and saying, "Look what these guys did. This is what we have to compete with. Now let me hire
this
5
is
people."
30,000 people not paying us $15 a month right now that would happily do so if they just had a product.
Here's the shot at it. Sorry, I keep interrupting. I keep interrupting you guys because I'm being a horrible host because I'm so fucking fired up right now. But I just want to say this, and I wanted to hear from the rest of you guys on this one. Maybe this is, again, one of the greatest indicators of all time on how I feel about the landscape at the moment and what's happening in terms of where I'm playing and where I'm not playing. For the first time in 7 years, or 6 years, sorry, it's 2025. First time since 2019, I ended my WoW sub. There we go. Cancelled a couple of days ago because I'm somewhere else and no plans to go back anytime soon. First time in 6 years. I've had lulls with Classic in the past where I've taken like a 6-week holiday, 8-week holiday, didn't end my sub. Ended my sub this week. That's the sign. When you fucking lost Josh's sub, that's a sign.
That's so funny. I just canceled my sub too.
I did find myself just kind of wandering around the launcher like someone at the shops, but you didn't know what you went there to buy. And I was just like dropping the menu down and clicking on I got 2 accounts and all the servers and versions of the game. I opened retail. I closed it at the character screen. I opened Mop. I fucking did one quest. I logged off, and I was just like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be.
Look at fucking everyone in the chat. Everyone saying out loud on the podcast here as guests and saying in text chat right now, I cancelled mine too. I cancelled mine too. I cancelled mine too. Again, it's not personal. It's we're going where the enjoyment is right now. And right now it's somewhere else outside of a Blizzard product. Sorry, Blizzard, but the like the moth to the flame, the bright lights have distracted us and pulled us somewhere else where we decided that's a bit of a good time. And all of these fucking people going, I am Spartacus, I cancelled too, that's epic.
Well, and I could just say the money I saved from my canceled sub, I could just use to boost if I want to do a TBC then.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
look at Tim's
there's
response.
no point for me to pay right now.
That's exactly what I want to fucking see. Look at Tim's response. Go off and play other games. That's great. Don't worry. You'll be back. That's exactly what I want to fucking see. But you got to back that up, Tim. And I have faith in you and I love you, brother. But I've questioned whether you guys, you've delivered some great dungeon encounters in the past. I've questioned whether you guys can deliver the same kind of feeling that I got just a few days ago on a different server. I want you to. I said I don't know if they can, but I want them to. Let's hope you get pushed to deliver that kind of feeling again in the world that you're building.
Yeah, I would like to throw it back to when they had told us, like, SOD is the very extreme of anything that they'd ever do. And you can perfectly see how that could be watered down to what we're doing now and having fun. Like, I think it'll almost be comical to look back at SOD and the things that we had going on in there, but it was the experimental pit. We're just chucking things in and watching what bubbled. So yeah, it'll be interesting for sure.
I want, like everything I've said over the last half an hour, Tim, I want you. I always joke about the person listening to the podcast while they drive to work along the highway and getting angry and throwing their phone or whatever out the window. That's exactly what I want you to do. I want you to be so fired up by what I say on this pod, if you happen to go back and listen to it, that you're on the highway down the road to Irvine and you're doing fucking, 80 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour, and just the phone gets tossed out the window going, fuck him, we'll show him. That's exactly what I want.
I hope they say that like we've already got stuff in the books that's going to blow this shit out of the water. Just wait.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Someone else talk. I'm too fired up. I think I've got to go to apologize to my wife. I think she can hear me yelling and she's telling me to shut the fuck up. Can you guys talk for a second?
Or maybe there's a reason why we had to stop SOD development.
Someone mentioned launcher before. Can I just say having add-ons inside the Ascension launcher that you can just literally just click to install is absolutely awesome. They all just work.
They don't work.
Are they working now, or because they
weren't
working
now?
I've got Bartender going. I've got a chat one. I've got updated frames, Epoch quest. Everything's working just great, and it was one-click installs.
You use the launcher.
Fucking say less.
Yeah,
oh
Ascension
my
launcher.
days! I've been battling the add-ons all week, like multiple installs and shit.
It's just great. It's so easy.
Sorry.
I think we're all shocked in the silence with Tim just coming in here dropping bombs.
No, and that's why I'm trying to. I don't want to do the thing because I hate when fucking content creators do this. If someone from Blizz gets like near them, like if within 100 miles of them, they fucking they clean up what they're saying and they're like, hi, it's the old meme of like Tim walking in the room and you've just been slagging him and you're like, oh, hi, Tim. Oh, we were just talking about you. Yeah, how's the wife and kids? Hope you're... No, fuck that. I hate that. I'm not going to... I don't want to change anything about what I've been saying or the tone that we've been taking just because Tim's walked in. Tim knows I fucking love him, but like I'm not going to sort of shift gears just because of that. But like, I'll just say, sorry, my wife was yelling at a rugby game, not at me, which is good, so I can keep being fired up. What I wanted to say was Tim. That's right. Tim says, and we all know this, fucking Countdown listeners, the smartest WoW players out there. Tim says maybe there's a reason why we had to stop SOD development, Of course we know. We all know that. You're amongst friends, Tim, here. We know that. I have no doubt that you guys sat down, even obviously before SOD ended, a month or two before, and said, right, Classic Plus development starts right now, guys. I want a little fucking. I presume, because this is what I would do if I was management at Blizzard. I would have the days till launch thing on above the door at the office that you rip down the number every day, and you're counting down and you're pumping out until that launch day comes, and you're doing the best job that you can until then. But Tim, what I've said, and I'll just say this one little thing again now that you're in the room, is that like you guys don't need to be told this, but it's a bar has definitely been set, and I've basically said if you, and you know this, if you don't meet this bar, it's not a good look. You don't want to be shown up at the game you invented. It's like, you know, fucking the old I'm trying to think of a good reference, but like, you know, fucking old Dr. James in it, Dr. Naismith inventing basketball and going, oh, okay, so I'm going to put a thing here, and if you throw it through, it's worth 2 points. And then the kid he just taught that to, then annihilating him and dunking him on him in the game he created. You don't want to be shown up at your own thing, and particularly by people who don't do it professionally. You guys, I know you want to win this race, but you've got to do it because you now have a comparison point. And that's the tough part for you. Is you're now not fighting against the million different ideas that get thrown out there in the ether by all the classic players, because everyone goes, what's Classic Plus to you? And like we always say and always joke, there's 1,000 different responses. But now you're not fighting against some hypothetical hodgepodge of ideas of what Classic Plus could be. Now you're fighting against a real collection, a tangible collection of those ideas that people can play and we literally hold side by side to your product and then decide which one they're going to choose. That's the issue for you guys, and you have to beat that to be able to get to a point where I go back onto your website and click that resub button because I prefer your option to theirs. And yes, I'm so glad. I'm talking such shit because he's like, no shit, Josh. He's 100% spot on. I'm sorry. I feel I don't mean to be like talking down to you like you're a fucking child. You know all this stuff. I know. I don't know what I'm thinking. You stop me.
He's probably like, I wish I could just share all the shit with you that I know right now and shut you the fuck
No,
up.
he'd be sitting at home going, fuckwit, we know, shut up.
I think like a part of when I was saying earlier, like it's that you have little moments of like, oh, for fuck's sake, why is it hard to go and make this? But then most of the time I'm here thinking like, kind of like what you were leaning into. If it can be this fun to play this, and they only moved it from a 10 out of 10 to a 12 out of 10, like this is all still just hyping me up the whole time to a proper Classic Plus. And like we spoke about it earlier, the reason why we're here is just because I don't really want to play MOP, and that's all there is going for it. I don't want to play Anniversary. I literally could have ended up playing TBC, potentially out of desperation, had this have not caught my eye like a month ago. But the whole time, like you're playing this and you are going like, fuck, if these guys can make just this and it's this fun, then, you know, what could Blizzard make and how fucking good would that be? Like, just, we need like a hot tip of when to expect it so I can take a month off at this rate. Like, I could genuinely die from joy of playing Classic Plus.
It's going to be
absolutely smacked out of the park.
It's going to be so hard to beat that Wailing Caverns. That's why I said could they. Like,
I
almost want to call it perfection, and that's why I say like, could the makers of the game even beat this? Like, it was that good.
Yeah. Well, I said the other day, like I don't know the name of whoever actually would have made original Wailing Caverns, but I would love to think that they were out there and they've seen this and gone like, wow, look what they did to my boy, in like a proud sense, because of like it's just a modernization of it, really.
Yeah.
Like the OG was good when it was made. And then to see your own creation redeveloped in 2025 like that would be pretty cool, I think.
Stats would have a fucking baby watching the footage of the new Wailing Caverns. He'd think it was awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's remarkable, to be honest. So, no, this is all still just gas. My fucking hype train is still absolutely jacked full of coal. So, it's just got to wait maybe a year and a half.
All right, we'll start to wind it down because we're hitting the 3-hour mark, but we won't end just yet. But we'll just start the slow and gradual wind down of the talk, guys. I'll I've really dominated over the last 45 minutes or so. I want to sort of hand the show back to you a little bit. Why don't we end, over the last 15, 20 minutes, just end on some really fun, cute things that, again, in the non-spoiler category, cute, fun things or really fun, funny moments that you've had over the last week on the server. What stands out to you in the story department?
I've got one.
Yeah,
Come
go.
straight back
Hit
to
us. Hit us.
Flames, the mage that I found in Undercity. Remember this on day one?
No. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm running in the Undercity to learn my skills, like level 16 or some shit, and I'm the little pyramid thing that the trainers are on. Anyways, I run up to where you learn. Oh, sorry, I was level 20 because I was learning teleport. I go to the portal trainer, and there's like a level 10 mage there, just talking to themselves in say, going like, "Oh fucking hell, mages must only get skills every 5 levels or something," and starts to walk off. And I'm like, "Oh, that's funny." And then I'm like, "Wait a fucking second!" And I whisper him and say, come back, you're talking to the wrong fucking NPC." And then I take him to the mage trainer, and you see this poor bastard learn every fucking skill probably since level 2 in one. So this guy's been out there rank 1 fireballing shit till level 10. It was just a fucking like the kind of people that end up on it. It's like it was funny to know that someone that out of the out of the know can end up in this place. Like, we're in this weird version of the game. Obviously it's free, so you do get a mixed bag, but yeah, it was just so fucking funny. And I was there wondering, like, if he didn't get corrected, how far could my boy have gone with his rank 1 fireball?
What was he talking to you and say, or was he trying to talk to
he
an
was
NPC
talking to
and say?
himself. I snuck up behind him and he was just talking to the world on his own in say chat. He had no idea that I was there and I was walking past. It was fucking hilarious.
I love that
Absolute
one.
peak timing.
I love that one. Who wants to go next? Give me some good vibes, some good funny stories.
I got one. I saw, I guess since hardcore is working now, I saw somebody die doing a hardcore, and there's like a server announcement when they die. I don't know if you guys already talked about it. But,
No.
Yeah, so there's like a server announcement similar to like the hardcore servers that kind of show out when he died. And I saw him. He was in that Harpy area in the Barrens, and I saw him die, and I was like, oh shit, maybe I could have helped him, but I was kind of fighting my own fight at the time, so I wasn't able to. But I was able to res him. I didn't think I would be able to, but I just, like, for shits and gigs was like, let me see if I can't res him really fast. And he got this nasty debuff, which was called Tarnished Soul. So I really liked the call out to Dark Souls, and it was a pretty nasty debuff. So I don't think he was getting back to where he had to go. Like, he couldn't Hearthstone, he couldn't flight path, his speed was reduced, his attack power was reduced, like everything. And then I think I left him. All I saw was slash cry over and over again. I think he realized he was cooked.
I'm pretty sure that debuff, you have to walk back to the closest major city and talk to it. Yeah, it's like the walk of shame.
Oh,
it was the old, yeah, because you can't even run. Like, it reduces your run speed. So I think he realized that he died in just the worst spot, surrounded by harpies. Like, I think he realized he was never getting back.
My someone else think of a story while I quickly tell this one. It's not a moment of triumph, it's a moment of grief, as is usually the way with my stories. But when I was spending fucking 2 hours in Amber Mill with all the new quests, like Yubi said, the 4 or 5 new quests that they've put in there, getting my fucking teeth kicked in by all these mobs, I did happen to find a chest, and I was like, ooh, piece of candy. And chests are great. I love what they've done with chests. It's such a dumb little thing, but every chest basically has 2 greens in it, guaranteed. And fuck, it feels good that now not 75% of the chests just have a piece of fruit in it. It really means something to find a chest. So I find a chest and I go, oh, what's this one got? And it had a level 175 tailoring pattern, and I'm a tailor. That's fantastic. And oh, look at that, +9 like shadow spell damage on some gloves and +7 spirit. And I was like, fucking jackpot, here we go, baby, I've made it. And it's funny because I had, you guys will know with this, going out a macro to delete soul shards set up with my drain soul. And it only went off, obviously, if whatever was in the last bag slot of my last bag. And I remember saying hours before this, I've got to keep an eye on that. I'll be all over it. I'll be the master of my inventory management so that I never delete anything but the soul shards. I wouldn't want something fun and expensive being deleted. And lo and behold, the next mob I fight, I fucking delete the recipe. And I was gutted. But then got rid of the macro because I said never again. I'm never letting myself be dicked over like that. So now I just delete my soul shards manually. Who's got the next one?
Getting a +1 stem neck at like level 9 was pretty cool when I was doing one of the quests in Mulgore. For my Tarn Priest, all of a sudden you do one of the new quests and you get like your first neck, even though it's only 1 stem, but it was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Slot.
I do like the jewelry has been taken off its pedestal, considering it's like one of the worst slots for actual stats. Like they're generally weak items, necks and rings.
But because
so
you
it never
wait
made
so
sense
long.
that they were so exclusive. Like
Yeah. It's like the guy. It's like the guy that gets laid for the first time at 30, but the sex was horrible, but he doesn't know it.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, sex is like
Yeah,
pizza.
I like
Even
the
when
little
it's bad,
things,
it's still good.
the little things that fill up slots. Just even if it's just 1 or 2 stam or spirit or whatever, it feels nice to slot something in that low to kind of fill that gap.
We still talking about
And
WoW?
It's not like breaking anything.
Someone out there will get that one. All right, boys. Sorry, go for it. No, boys, I think we're almost done. Yubi, are you satisfied with the extent that this conversation went to? I feel like we've forgotten and left stuff out, but we got so wound up it doesn't matter. We covered so much.
I wanted to kind of give that a shout in that, like, there's just 1,000 tiny things that, like, I've actually struggled trying to explain the game to people because, like, you say, oh, there's all this stuff. It's like, all right, name them, and you go, fuck, I can't. I just know that they were there. Like there were moments or interactions, quests, stuff like that where you just go, oh, this is fun and this is cool. So I guess in a way, like I've tried to say to people, if you like classic, just commit. Just go play this for like 4 hours. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. It doesn't matter to me if you start playing or not. This is like a plea of just if you are into this version of the game, you should do yourself right by just having a look. Because I don't know a single person that I've known for years that likes classic and has just finished the starting zone and come back and gone, fucking garbage, hated everything they did, it sucks. I don't even know anyone that's actually quit that has started yet. Yeah. So if you like Anniversary, if you like TBC, if you're a bit lost after SOD, just give it a look, and it doesn't hurt. Worst case scenario, you're fucking wasted 3 hours.
Yeah,
but if you should find out by then whether you like it or not.
There's no reason that people we know wouldn't like this, and the only sort of out that I can think of that, like I've said earlier, I'm more than happy to give to people is if you truly like just have that huge hang up, whether it's morally, legally, ethically, technically, whatever it might be in regards to private servers, I completely understand. It is the back alleys of the internet that, so many people don't want to venture down. They don't feel comfortable venturing down, and I completely understand. But if that's not a hang up of yours, you have no reason not to try it, like Yubi said, but also there is a very high probability you're going to like it because we all do. And look, again, we did the same thing with SOD. Very early review, way too early review. We know that things could change on a dime, but right now we're having a lot of fun. And that's it. That's what it's about. Do what's fun.
Yeah, even if it exploded tomorrow, I'd just go, oh, well, that was a fun week.
Yeah, and we talked about this, Yubi. So many people don't do it because of the tenuous nature of their characters. We've met a lot of people along the way, and again, like I don't want to lay in too hard, but people who refuse to play on any server, even Blizzard related, people said this about SOD. They go, I will not touch Season of Discovery until I am assured of the future of my character. I need to be able to log into this character 5 years from now, or I'm fucking out. I get it, but I don't. Just in terms of I've never shared that feeling. I don't check in on characters years down the track. I don't always feel the need to progress into the next expansion. I'm fine with just, you know, as you say, if this server, for whatever reason, this server got taken down tomorrow, we would sit here and go, fucking, how good was that week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an absolute C+ crackpot. In there's some twisted way I'm convincing myself that this is like field testing for just my own ideas and my own rants about the game.
Oh, as far as I'm
Like,
concerned,
you get to go in and review this and go, you know what? I had that idea 2 years ago and it fucking stinks.
No,
I'm glad that that's not in the game.
But fuck that. As far as I'm concerned, it is. We play this server. We talk on this podcast about what works and doesn't work. You don't think that's going anywhere?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe it's copium, but at least for me, it's what I'm driven by. Like, I just want a C+. Now that I did the trio tour, I've killed Lich King again. Now all I really want to play is Plus, so I'll just scavenge and look for anything that's related to it at this point.
We didn't shout out the carts enough. Fucking all praise the cart. It is amazing. They go a little too quickly when you're trying to get on, but it is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Oh, between the towns, yeah, the carts are fantastic.
The cart system is
I like
amazing.
that you can ejecto Cedo whenever you want, or catch one. Like it's speeding down the road and you grab it by the side and jump on it if you do want to lift, if you've started to run to where you were going.
Yep.
That's all very cool.
If Blizzard wanted to piss everybody off, you just copy paste it and have everyone lose their fucking minds, even though the private server's obviously stealing your IP, you steal an ID back, and then everyone goes ballistic.
Yeah, I'm not saying it because Tim's here. I read it in the Discord yesterday. I would not care if they were shameless and just fucking copy pasted some of this shit, going, "It's our IP,
got an
bitches."
improvement to the carts.
Yeah, go for it.
Can you have them going both
The
ways?
key to carts need to be more like flight pads, and then the key to why flight pads are so good in the game is they allow you to AFK, stand up, like stretch your legs, grab a beer, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do. The carts need to be able to AFK safely as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
You need to be able, like, I'm all for being able to hop on a cart as it's coming, but it should just kick you off when it gets to its stop. So that way, when you come back AFK'd 15 minutes later, you didn't make a round trip all the way around. You got to your destination. Because anything that can promote WoW players not getting, blocks in their legs from not moving around and all that, you know what I mean?
Fucking, I agree. Look at the love. I love it. We're not Blizzard simps here. We're Tim Jones simps, aren't we, Yubi? I'm gonna get Tim Jones tattooed on my butt, but I'm not gonna have the O. You can all guess where that goes. We love you, Tim. Thank you for being here and listening to all of this. We've got the fucking Tim Jones emoji and everything for you guys to spam because we're fans of his work here. Look, what was I going to say? I think he's gone AFK, but we'll see if he's back. For whatever fucking reason, nephew Justin, who doesn't even play WoW, has decided he must be heard on the podcast. Justin, are you there? No, he's gone to do a shit. He'll be back real soon, and then we'll hear from him. Guys,
I'm back.
Oh, here he is. What did you need to did you have a fine game dev point that you wanted to chip in with?
Oh, absolutely fine, Gabe. No, I'm just shocked of hearing you canceling your subscription. I'll say you are now going to buy Battlefield 6. Is this where the money funds are going?
I feel really bad. I feel really bad that I missed the beta because it sounded like everyone had the best fucking time.
It was.
Yeah. What did you like? Okay, because I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this since it all happened. I've been busy editing rugby videos and playing this fucking Project Epoch. But Yubi talked about a little bit in voice over the last few days. What was your take on everyone's meltdown on the subreddit about the map size?
I think it's just a bit of an overreaction. Obviously, they can't put out all the... it's like how COD put out one map for their, 32 versus 32, where, they're putting out the smaller maps, obviously, that they've easily built quicker and all, and just put it out in the beta because it's so much easier to obviously play in, where they've got all this new destruction elements and stuff with the bigger maps, where it's just obviously, you just have one big map or you have 3 small maps. It's like a, give or take. I think that everyone's overreacting on the small maps, They were good.
I have a wild revelation that it was a beta, and potentially
No.
potentially close quarter combat in those maps would like 4x their data retrieval of interactions between players,
No.
because maybe it was a test weekend. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But
Yubi, that's an insane point.
how preposterous!
How
Like,
could you say that?
we don't need to bug test me and the boys driving our jeeps 7 minutes across the map to go capture E. That's gonna work.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But I think it's very positive. Other than the map size, everyone's like enjoying the ragdoll destruction.
Well, what was the other complaint? It's not to focus on the complaints because I want to ask about the good stuff. But the other complaint I saw was something about the mishmashing of the role of medic.
Yeah. So now you can obviously I don't know how much you know of it. What you can do now,
Matt,
but
I
now
played Battlefield 2 and 3, and that's it.
Well, now you can change your class mid game and like change what gun each role has.
Okay.
So like you could be a scout with an AR or an SMG.
Yeah.
You just it's pretty good, but that was like everyone's little pet peeve is like, oh, you're going away from, you're stuck to that role with that gun type thing. Where that's just like the diehard Battlefield fans just like stuck their feet in the sand and said, no, this is shit.
Yubi, what was good about it?
I thought it was fucking awesome. Like, I can't wait to play more. I was one of the people begging, like, give me another weekend, please. I went back to playing Dota, worst week ever. So I'm just not going to play Dota until fucking Battlefield comes out, and I got something else to play other than WoW. But I thought it was really good, and apparently the biggest complaint I saw was like the COD movement, and I mean, guilty as charged. I was knee sliding assault shotgun around corner on all the Battlefield boomers that came out of retirement.
You would be that guy.
Yeah, I was one of the zoomers in disguise.
You weren't the guy defibbing everyone to death?
Nah, I'm not a medic enjoyer. I'm purely assault. Or when no one wants to kill the tank, I get rolled up and I go slap some C4 on his booty and blow him up, and then go back to being assault. Yeah.
I think Josh, you're gonna love this one.
If it's really good, I'll watch and then I'll buy it and have a run around with you lot. You two should team up and fucking play. It sounds like you guys would be a good team. Yeah.
The reviving, anyone being able to revive anyone else is a huge action boost. But even like assault does it the slowest, so they've even got like kind of balancing between, because I mean, it makes sense. And then support does it a bit quicker. And then obviously medic can instant do it with their zap. But they can also not pull out the defib if they don't want and do like the manual revive.
Right.
So, yeah,
There you
it's
go.
very, very good.
When
And
does
it's
it
on a
when does it come
tangent from
out?
WoW.
When does it come out?
Early
October
October. Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's some time away. Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
All right, guys.
When
Well,
I get back from Europe, Josh, you can.
fair enough.
Be ready. Be ready.
Be
on
ready to
Epoch
roll. Yeah. All right. Well, look, we'll wrap it up there, everyone. Stay in the channel, and I'll keep shooting the shit with you guys once I've stopped recording and we're offline. But guys, look, that's that. You've heard what you've heard. I'm not going to add anything more to it. You either play or you don't. But we'll talk C+ and Epoch moving forward on the podcast. Like I said, I'm not playing MOP. I'm not playing Anniversary. I can only talk about what I'm playing. And what we want to see from Blizzard, we can guesstimate as to what we want to see in Blizzard's version of Classic Plus, and we can talk about what we are currently seeing on Epoch. And that's probably going to be the next year of the show, quite frankly, unless something else comes along. I don't fucking know. But guys, get into it.
And hit anyone up in Countdown. Everyone can invite.
Yep.
Like, look for the guild if you roll on Manifold.